Wait till everybody get in. We live, y'all. So
Yeah,
yeah,
peace, love, and light to all the American Aborigines.
that's right. That's right. Shout out to Abe. All right, you guys, gals, Aborigines, we back with the American Indian Encyclopedia, 15 years of inventions, and innovations with the brother AP, aka Aboriginal Power, my brother Jaguar Omek. We've been doing this like series on this encyclopedia we found with all the inventions that was found in or on this continent from Alaska down to Chile or Argentina, which is the last so-called country or landmass that's connected to everything, if you will. Um, yeah, we're gonna be starting from P. Shout out to all the Aborigines. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Shout out to everybody in North, Central, South America. Like I said, it's been a little laid back as far as getting some of these videos out. I got a lot of material that I'm trying to, get out. I'm trying to get this documentary. I've been pushing very hard to really get this done. But I think it's coming along good. I just gotta really just finish it out for the most part. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody send donations. Shout out to everybody that go to the T-shirt Spring app and copper tea. Yeah, man, definitely, man, and definitely get an opportunity support culture for Hidden Cultures of America. It's a documentary about Black Indians that was here pre-Columbian. Like I said, if you would like to donate, just go to my PayPal account as well as my Cash app. And if you like to cop yourself some Aboriginal apparel, go to the app that's that's in the description. Also, my email is also in the description. And if you like to contact me for email, or if you have any concerns or anything that you need to talk about, definitely email me. Lately, I've been kind of busy because, like I said, I went back to school um, about a year ago, and I just really did it because I was kind of bored. I wanted to do something like some type of architecture or like something like doing with architect. I don't know, man, but I ended up going back for some type of business administration, and I got a statistic class this semester that's very demanding. So, along trying to be a father and trying to have some type of family and trying to have some type of leisure time, man, we get caught up with that. So for the most part, I've been pretty much seeing what's going on as far as all the headlines and everything. This ain't the video that I'm gonna be touching on a lot of stuff. We're just gonna be pretty much dealing with the encyclopedia, and we're gonna go from there, y'all. All right. So like I said, we got the brother Jag. You guys know him. If not, he definitely introduced himself. For most of y'all already know Jaguar. You know AP. So where was we at? We started from Beyond P, and let me see something real quick. All right, you guys ready?
Let's get it.
All right, so who's gonna start? Let me see something.
Oh,
Pills. You know what? Um, who want to start? You want to start?
I'll go second. Go ahead.
All right, okay. So I start. I'm gonna start with pills. All right. So we got pills. All right. So as you guys know, like we start from where we left off at the last time we did one was back in I believe September. Been a minute. but I'm starting from pills right here. Can you guys see my screen? All right, so pills AD 1100 to 1519 AD. All right, so it's a pills or pallet, it's a tablet of medicine that is small enough to be swallowed prior to contact with Europeans. The Aztecs made pills out of their medicine in order to make it easier to ingest. The Aztec established an empire in what is now Mexico in about 1100 AD. Aztec physicians recognized that some people had difficulties taking certain medicines. When this was the case, the Aztec physicians wrapped the medicine to be administered by a flower petal. Interesting. To be administered by a flower petal. They say so that the medicine would be easier to swallow. In North America, the Eastern Woodland Indians. So when they say North America and the Eastern Woodland Indians, they're talking about us. Okay. So well, remember they are we are the Aztecs, the Mayans, all that shit, all that is us, all right. But for most of us that's in North America, if you can identify to a landmass of where you might have been, it was here, which is southeast, northeast, like we mostly say. All right, so it say also use pills. Say Indians made them from a high brush of cranberry. All right, it say grinding it while it was moist and compressing into a pill. American colonists who borrowed the remedy called it bark, cramp bark, an appropriate name since the American Indians used an antispasmodic, yeah, I guess that's how you pronounce that, properties to treat menstrual cramps. Modern herbalists recommend it for the same treatment today. The Mouset and the Pinot whatever Indians also administered cramp bark pills to treat mumps because of the dietary properties, and I mean the elimination of the fluids which one has the mumps is desirable. All right, so you see, like, they've been had pills here. The European that stole everything. Most of the stuff that we talk about in a lot of these videos, you see the Europeans just all they did was just take our culture. This ain't come from Africa, because let them tell you everything that we study came from Africa. The Africans was doing it. They're talking about here. Why they not saying that if they got this from the Egyptians, why is they giving credit to the people here in North America for the pill? So, like I said, you just gotta really just look into it. So what you guys want to do? We got
I guess
mental.
we got Mentos. We know what that is. Pimentos, excuse me. We know what pineapples is. You see what I'm saying? We can touch on we got pipes and tobacco. That's critical.
All right, so whoever want to be the one step up, step
I
up.
go in. You got
All
to
right.
pull up.
Yeah, go ahead. Let me mute my mic. Go. You good? I'm gonna mute my mic.
Peace, peace. All right, pipes, tobacco. 2000 BC, Mesoamerica, North American, Southwest, Southeast, Northeast, and the Great Plains culture. It's pretty much telling you all over the whole America. You see what I'm saying? Pipes and tobacco. Pipes are a device used for smoking tobacco. Hold on a second. A plant cultivated by indigenous peoples throughout the Americas. Archaeologists use the present the presence of pipes to date tobacco cultivation. So they're using the pipes to date back how long people been cultivating tobacco. The first pipe used by Mesoamerican cultures and those in the North American Southeast and in tubes that were filled with tobacco. Stone carvings show the Mayan priests used a ceramic pipe shaped like a tube in religious ceremonies. Mayan culture arose in Mesoamerica about 1500 BC. So it's even telling you that tobacco was cultivated and smoked on large scales before the Mayan culture even rose. Later, the Aztec rose an empire and established in about 1100 AD used smoking tubes and reed of cane too. So they smoked pretty much whatever. The Aztec was putting different things besides tobacco inside their pipes. Uh, and this is dating at 1100 AD. So let's go on. The pipes that you see right here on the screen is Igfi pipes carved by Algonquin pipe makers. Okay, were made
Mm-hmm.
to resemble birds and animals. These were made by indigenous people in Ontario. So that's key because Ontario is closer to the north. And if you deal with some of the Seneca Village and the Negro burial lands, these type of pipes is what they found in those burial grounds. And right here, they let you know that these pipes were made by indigenous people.
Yo, I swear, man, you just read my fucking mind, yo. When you look, listen, they got a documentary. Y'all can hear me, right? They got a documentary on YouTube called "The Seneca Village," and they show you how they excavated Central Park and how they was finding these pipes. Right now, who the people they told you live in Seneca Village? They said Africans. Africans don't smoke like that. You
Facts.
tell me an African that smoke like a Negro. Why you think Negroes always smoking? You know what I'm saying? Why? They probably was smoking coke back then. The motherfucking Mayans, if they had, they in South America. You know what I'm saying? They probably these are practices that people probably been doing, smoking different herbs and smoking fucking mushrooms and all this other stuff or whatever. And I ain't trying to even like really say that, but remember all of the so-called things that you know what I'm saying, like most of the drugs are in South America or in Americas. You understand what I'm saying? Even the hemp plant and all that. But like AP just said, when they was excavating Central Park, they kept finding these ceramic pipes. You know what I'm saying? With the same shit that look just like these. And they saying that only people was living there was Africans. They trying to say that Africans is living there, but like I said, you don't see Africans smoking. Why the fuck you? And excuse me, I don't mean curse. I'm trying to make these videos a little bit more friendly for friendlier ears or whatever. But for the most part, you don't see Africans smoking like that unless they really start hanging around, unless they have a drug problem. Because most of the Africans I know that smoke drink. And for the most part, I don't really even see them indulging in any of that. But you see Negroes, American Negroes smoking on a regular. That's the peeve. You see him, you see your grandfather probably smoked until he was 80, 90 years old. You know what I'm saying? And was healthy and everything. You know what I'm saying? So that's something definitely what I see right here is, let me see something. I was looking at something. All right, right here say, I don't know if you was gonna read some more of this. You was gonna read some more of this?
No, you can go ahead and go in. You can finish it. I pretty much just want to summarize and touch on it. Just point out the critical. Because
I wanted to just touch.
tobacco is key to culture. You know what I'm saying, and customs and traditions. So if you keep finding these pieces of your culture and your customs in various places where they saying your people wasn't there, then you just got to comb through this crime scene a little more, and look at the evidence clear.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Well, we at places names. Do anybody want to do? I wanted to do a little bit of this. So, if you want anybody want to start off, you
Go
start
ahead, go.
off.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
can start off.
all right. Let's get hold up. Let me see one thing real quick before we move on. All right, you know what? Let me just read. Let me read this last paragraph right here. All right, I want to read this right here of the pipes. All right, so it said, according to anthropologists, pipe smoking and tobacco use in Mesoamerica and North America was used primarily for ceremonial and circumscribed political purposes. The Mayas, for example, smoked tobacco pipes at special events such as feasts. The Aztec and Mesoamerican and the Alchemel, the Al, I mean no, the Akimel. O.
Alchemical.
Nah, this right here. This a word. It's Akimel. O. It say O or ham or dam. So the Akimel or dam. It
Oh,
say pina. It say the North American Southwest forbade use. I mean, forbade use of the tobacco by children because they correct I mean no because they correctly believe that smoking would create breathing problems. Same thing we think today. The Aztec established an empire in what is now Mexico in about AD, I mean 1100 AD. North American colonists took tobacco use after their arrival. Unlike the American Aborigines, they smoke so they smoke. Especially, it say they no, it say they smoke socially. It say they use both corn on the cob pipes and clay pipes. Wow. So they corn on the cob pipes. Wow. It say for this purpose, pipes was exported to Europe with tobacco. It say the English began making pipes as early as 1575. That's the reason why Amsterdam is the Dutch. That's why you see the Dutch got all them pipes and all that shit in Amsterdam, because when they came here, that's the reason why you see the American Indian on a lot of these different like if you looked up, you go on Dutch or you look up, you like in Amsterdam, I've heard people told me they have went into smoke shops and they have seen the people with the feather crown on and that same grass skirt or that same grass kilt or whatever you want to call it, like the stuff that we was wearing over here. You know what I'm saying? So it's not unusual. Plus, we got the images of them calling them Moors and transporting them back to smoking Moors. That's why they call them the Rokinde Moor. They're talking about Indians though, and this is the Dutch. So, like, I already put the videos up there. I just wanted to just read that because I felt like that was something
yeah,
interesting.
they needed that one.
No doubt. All right, so let's go on to places names. So, Brother Jaguar, you will be more than likely be kind to just start it, and let me get a little bit of it because I saw that's a lot.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
I'm gonna
you
read
know,
this. I'm gonna read that first paragraph, and then I'm gonna jump right into the names. Alabama probably down to about. I just do like the A's, I guess, and then you come
all right,
in.
we just whenever you feel like you wanna, because if you get flowing, you could keep going, man. But if you know what I'm saying, whatever. But let's get with it. So we got places names, all right.
Yeah, because I know they probably, we probably might have to hit each name, so that way we can just jump through it. Of course, place names be pre-contact, or contact because it's just, what they would call these, the locations or whatever. So it's North American, Mesoamerican, Circumcaribbean, South American cultures. It's basically thousands of geographical names in North America, Mesoamerica, and South America are derived from Indian words. American Indians gave many of these names to locations and geographic features long before Europeans arrived in the Americas. Others were borrowed from native languages by the conquerors and colonizers. Mountains, rivers, lakes, cities, counties, states, and even countries bear native names today. For example, the name Mexico comes from the Aztec or Nahuatl word Machiko, meaning place of the war god. The name Canada is derived from the indigenous word Kanata, which means settlement or village. The Canadian provinces, Manitoba and Saskatchewan, also bear Indian names. The name of another Canadian province and the smallest of the Great Lakes, Ontario, come from the Iroquoian Ani Anaya. Oh my bad. Aniatario. Iroquoian Aniatario, which means fine lake. Fine lake. All right. It's okay. I just read that little. It say the Adirondack Mountains of upstate New York were named for the native people who originally lived in the area. The word comes from the Iroquois Rata Rodirontax, meaning bark eaters. Iroquois in the north and Cherokee in the south inhabited the mountainous area known today as Appalachia, but Europeans named it after the Appalachi, a tribe that lived in what is now the Florida Panhandle. See, that's why it's hard for me to stop because it's like it's giving you some good drop on this. So I might as well just keep reading. The city of Miami in Florida is named after the Muskogean tribal name Miami. However, in the Midwest, the name of Miami, Ohio, is derived from the Chippewa, a, a Anishinaabe word for tribe. Chicago, Illinois, was named from the Algonquian word meaning onion place, probably because of the wild onions that grew in the marshy area before the present city was built. 26 of the contiguous United States, as well as Alaska, were given names derived from American Indian languages. So, all right, here we go. Alabama, a Choctaw word from the name of a tribe that was part of the Creek Confederacy and whose members lived in what is now the central part of the state. Alabama comes from the Choctaw word alba, which means vegetation or thicket, and amo, which means gatherers or clearers. Some historians think that the name referred to the tribe's land clearing endeavors for agricultural purposes, sometimes called milpa. The word Alabama was used in the first accounts of the 1540 journey through the area by Spanish conquistador Hernando de Soto. And that is, I can vouch for that with research we've been hitting, man. Even with brother James Flames, man, big bro James, shout out to him. He said the same thing, you know, correlating to what this is saying. So uh Alaska, according to some historians, the Russian derivation of the Aleut or Aleut word Alaska, which means mainland or great lands. Others believe the name came from another native word, Alaska or Alaska, a Yup'ik or Yup'ik word that means object toward which the action of the sea is directed, or the mainland. So it's saying it means the sea is going towards the land of Alaska, I guess. Arizona, the Spanish version of Alazan Akimo o Adham. It says Pima and quote words that mean small spring. As early as 1736, Spaniards used the term to refer to springs located near a large silver find that had been made the year before. Arkansas, perhaps a phonetic spelling of the name that people of the Illinois tribe had for American Indians who lived along what is known as the Arkansas River, which means downriver or downstream people. Another explanation is that the state is named after the Kansas, a Siouan speaking tribe. So here we go with the Connecticut, man. Anybody want to touch that, or y'all want me to just finish this page, or somebody can jump in if they want.
You rocking, man. Keep it rocking. We
Yeah, keep
lit.
it moving. Keep it moving. I have my mic muted anyway. We keep it moving.
Make sure y'all got y'all pens and y'all papers out, y'all. This is incredible. This is critical information. You know, when people ask you, well, what was y'all culture? What was y'all languages? What was y'all contributions to the world? This is what you go to. So make sure y'all got y'all pen and y'all paper out, y'all.
And y'all see something, right? Check it out. You like even we touched on this a couple of weeks ago. No, matter of fact, not a couple of weeks ago. Probably about a month, a little over a month ago. We touched on some of the names of some of the places in North America. I only touched on pretty much on North America. But you see Connecticut. You see how they respelled it to make it English. So there's a lot of words. Only thing right now at this point in time. See now, what you got to think about, like even here, real quick. Let me just say this real quick, right? Even here in America, right? If you notice the words that's not English, everything else is so-called Aborigine. It's a lot of different land masses, a lot of different places. If it's not an English, because most of them they named them after either people or they named them after places that they took over that they call in Europe. You know what I'm saying? New England, New York. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like new, everything new or whatever. But if you notice in a lot of these, just like New York, you got I can't think of it right now, but upstate New York, or you got Montauk, you got Montauk, you got Montauk, you got a couple of different other states or so-called cities in New York that had so-called Aborigine names. You know what I'm saying? Like we touched on Seneca, the Shinnecock, and all of that. You know what I'm saying? But you know, all of that is really just New York ain't nothing but Connecticut. All that shit was connected anyway, and they all them tribes they was part of each other. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, man, it's a lot, man. You know, do the research, but I ain't want to dig in too deep on that though. But all right, we use that Connecticut. Go ahead. You want to keep it moving?
Yeah, it don't matter. That was. I mean, this is critical because this is something like I say. We've been sharing the book. I don't know if anybody have shared it. Of course, share it with your family if you do have it or whatever. If you need it, let us know, whatever. But this is something that is gonna basically, help us, reference, where we stand as a people. At least, I mean, it ain't like we're gonna be able to find out everything at one time, but I mean, piece by piece, everybody in different areas can work on their area and do the
Right,
best they can, and we can all bring it together, man. So,
right. Like right now, how many Negro family you know or friends you know is living north or South Dakota right now? Anybody out here? You know, got anybody? Some friends, homeboys? Anybody South Dakota?
I don't know nobody.
I don't know why it's South
Okay.
Dakota.
Well, go ahead and read on, and you'll see why.
All right, then. Well, all right. So we on Connecticut. From the Mohegan word, it looked like it's Guanetiquette
Yeah,
or
Connecticut. Quinnet. The
yeah,
one that's a Q. I don't know if that's a Q right
or
there, but
G,
the first one I found was a Q.
That's
yeah,
a G.
Quinetiquette. It was called Quinetiquette. But that's what I'm saying. Ain't nothing different but the vowels in it. But keep it moving.
yeah. Okay, Guanetiquette or Quanetiquette, which can be translated as Long River Place or the Long River. The original inhabitants of Connecticut were the Mohegan, Pequot, and Narragansett tribes. All right, Dakota, north and south, refers to the people who lived in the area. Both states were carved from Dakota Territory in 1889, which was established by the United States government in 1861. From land that was inhabited by the Dakota, the word means friends or allies in the Dakota language. Mm,
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why you don't know nobody there. A lot of them was traders. That goes right back into the traders and the raiders story that the big bro did. You know, we're gonna have to get familiar with the geographical locations where these people would have been inhabiting.
You know what? That's crazy too, cause I mean, we'll get into that, man. That's a whole nother bill.
You know something too. Check this out, right? North Dakota, right? Listen. Think of it like this, right? Think of it like this, right? We was not living in no motherfucking none of these places, right? If there was not no lakes, if there was not, we wasn't close to the ocean, if we wasn't close to main water points, what would be the purpose of living in the middle of the motherfucker, living in the Midwest? I was watching, like I was told you the other day, AP, I was watching some shit, just some gun smoke, right? This fucking old ass 1960 joint, man.
Cowboy
Western
movie.
joint.
Right, yeah.
Right? And one of the cowboys, my bad, one of the cowboys, they was digging for water. They was digging for water, right? And they was depressed about it. They could not find no water. They was digging for water, yo, and they was about to kill each other. Like it was getting that because they needed that water. You understand? So you're not gonna be no place living every day where you gotta make this far commute because you don't have no vehicles like that. So you
Right,
don't, you know what I'm saying? So you want to live close. That's why a lot of these lakes, a lot of these different waterlands and waterways, they're all named after Indian Lake or such and such lake, or you know what I'm saying? They all named after Aborigines because
right,
this is where we was living at. And then you know
right,
what I'm saying, all the water be the base of your production because you got fish, you got water, and like you said, you didn't over consume. So we ain't have no buffets. It was only enough for how many people was available. You understand? And that's how it was. And remember, you couldn't really store your food like that unless you store it in the dirt. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, like you can't really store your food, so you have to eat what's available or what's in that area or whatever. And like even some of our people might have migrated, but who want to live in the Midwest? The Midwest, nothing out there. There's no water out there. If you look, there's no water out there. None of the lakes reaches out there. You know what I'm saying? Unless you living on the coast or whatever. That's why the Mississippi is so important because the Mississippi, how the Mississippi come down, the Mississippi and all that come from the top from up there in Canada. And that's why all of the water come from that area. If you notice, all of the lakes, like that's in like the Detroit, Chicago, the Great Lake region, all of that water come off of a so-called glacier, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and that water flows down. You understand? But the same thing, they all connect somehow to the Mississippi. Because the Mississippi is the last cut off or whatever though. But they in most of these lakes and most of these waterways, with the exception probably of the Great Lakes, these Europeans they didn't polluted them. They didn't just dumping shit. They polluted like the Hudson River. None of these rivers, waterways, lakes, or nothing was polluted until these Europeans came here. None of them was polluted. All of them. You probably used to drink out the Hudson River. You know what I mean? You can't drink at them now that these Europeans is here. But prior to that, you still probably could drink. And then anybody live near New York or live over here, you already know how polluted the Hudson is. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these other rivers, like where I live at, you got the Passaic River. The Passaic River is damn green. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of these lakes, and that's in these parks. You know what I'm saying? They polluted because people that polluted them. And it's a wrap. It's a wrap as far as that. You know why? Because figure like this, right? The pollution in them lakes is so profound to where it can't be fixed unless they go through and clean all of them out and then make sure no one polluted them. But this is the effects of colonization, European invasion, and people just come in here who not having no connection to the land, who don't care. You see people just throwing trash, like it's just a mess. But let's continue, man. I'm sorry, I ain't mean to go on. It's been a long time since I really had a good decent build. So
Nah, man. I mean, it needs to be cleared up because a lot of people just don't have it in their conscience to. I done seen people at the lake plenty of times, man, throwing beer bottles in the lake. You know what I'm saying? Taking a leak or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it's just little simple stuff like that. You know, that's
That
it
fucked
adds
it up.
up. You know, you can
Yup.
make, and then like you say already with the other bullshit that they putting in there. I mean, it's just enough. And so that's just
That's right.
uh Illinois. The French spelling for Illini or Illini, a tribe of American Indians living along the bank of the river Cavalier de la Salle or de la
Mm-hmm.
Salle, traveled in 1679. The word meant man or warrior. Damn, man, that's something right there. Fighting
Yup.
Illini. Think
The
about it.
fight in Illinois. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. The war, the fight in Illinois. So that think about that. And that's another thing. They got all of these motherfucking. They got all of these symbols and all of these so-called universities and all of these. You know what I'm saying? And all of these different places. They got Geronimo Bones and Skull and Bones. That's what the what the fuck is they call that a hit. They call them a hit squad, Skull and Bones. Like when you see the movie Bones, they said they got Geronimo Bones, the skull and his cross and the crossbow. That's why 3-2-2 and all that though. But all of them places, man, the Florida State Seminoles, fucking, you know what I mean? Like, yo, the fight in Illinois. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, really, like, just like you just said, man or warrior. LaSalle got a school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? LaSalle has a school. So, like, you see after understanding where a lot of these different names come from or what the meaning of them, we know a lot of these names that we starting to see now was words that was already here. So that's something to be good on. Even like, when we get down to some of these other names, places thus far as we read that these places are the original names. They just put it more in an English text, but for the most part, a lot of these places are the original names.
That's right.
So,
All right. We got Iowa. Iowa named for the tribe of Indians that lived in the region, the Ayakwa, whose name means one who puts to sleep. The French spelled the word Iowa, and it became Iowa in English. All right. We got Kansas. The French spelling of the name of the tribe who lived in the area of the present state. According to some scholars, the word means south wind. In the Kansas, Omaha, Kaw, and Osage, and Dakota languages, which are all part of the Siouan linguistic family. It was first applied to the river, then to the territory, and finally to the state. All right, now that's something right there. Kentucky, a Wyandot word for plain, referring to the central plains of the state. It was first used in 1753. All right. Got Massachusetts, named for Massachusetts Bay Colony, established by the Puritans, who landed in 1620. In Algonquin, the word means large hill place or at the hill. This probably refers to Blue Hill near what is now Boston. Now, that's something right there. Um, Michigan, possibly derived from the Chippewa, and and Anishinaabe words Michi and Gami, which mean big water. Some believe the state was named after a clearing in the western Lower Peninsula that the Chippewa called Majigan or clearing. The word was first written in 1672 in reference to that clearing.
check it out. Now, even when you're dealing with words like the Chippewa or the Ani, how you pronounce that again?
I I think
How
it's
you
Anishinaabe or something like that.
Anishinaabe, the Chippewa. You know, I mean that sound like shit that's connected to us, man. It don't sound like that. Don't sound like nothing that would be connected to nobody else, man. Like you know what I'm saying. And you know, um, even I forgot the sculpture name. It was the young lady, very beautiful young lady. I can't think of her name right now, but she was a sculptor and she went to Europe. She was Chippewa. And they try to say, oh, her mother was Indian, and her father was an African, and she was raised by the Chippewa, and you know, and you can see her, you can see she a Negro. You know what I'm saying? I can't think of her name right now though, but the picture always be floating around of her. She got like a rat type hat on or whatever. Damn, I can't think of her name right now though. But yeah, but that sound like something that's connected to us, man. The Chippewa. You know what I'm saying? Real talk, like a lot of these names, man, they sound like like think of it. If one of these Pan Africans was to hear Chippewa, oh, that's an African name. That name came. Oh, the Africans brought that over here with them. That's why they call it that. You know what I'm saying? That ain't even nothing like a lot of these words that you see. Like a lot of these words you see on the east and up and down the Atlantic seaboard, like we said, from north to south, from east to west. I mean, well pretty much from north to south, southeast, and you know what I'm saying, the eastern woodlands or whatever. Most of them names sound consistent with something that will be attached to us, man.
That's
Like
right.
Algonquin, Iroquois, like that shit sound like it's black. Like it sound like them was Negroes. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with that, man. Chippewa. Come on, man. That don't sound like it was like that. You know. But I digress, man. Go ahead, keep it moving. You could stop at whenever you want to, man. I started Tennessee, but let AP do Tennessee if you want.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we'll do it like that. Let
All right.
AP do Tennessee. I just try to, because I mean, we still in the peas, and this why like we were saying, the peas is deep. Um, we already spending time on this, so bear with us. Where we at? Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Okay. All right. Shout out to Minnesota, Michigan area, Ohio. You know what I'm saying? The big mounders. Named after the Minnesota River that the Dakota called Minnesota, meaning cloudy or milky water. At the time of European contact, the Santee Sioux Nakota were the primary inhabitants of what is now the state. All right. Mississippi, after the river's name, which comes from the Algonquin language, Michisibi, meaning big river. Cavalier de Sal map of 1695 assigns the Mississippi River its current name. All right. Missouri, derived from the Algonquin word that means muddy water. This was also the name of a small tribe in the area that lived along the river. Some historians believe Missouri comes from an Algonquin word meaning river of the big canoes. After removal to Indian Territory, members of the Missouri tribe were classified as Odo. Hmm, okay. Ohio, named after the Ohio River. French explorer Cavalier de La Salle noted as early as 1680 that the Iroquois called the river Ohio, meaning large or beautiful river. Okay. Oklahoma, made up of the Choctaw word Ukla and Huma, which together mean red person. The
Mm.
Choctaw did not refer to themselves in this manner. Allen Wright as an American Indian missionary made up the name, which was used for the first time in the 1866 Choctaw-Chickasaw Treaty, which is now the state of Oklahoma, was originally known as Indian Territory, an area set aside in 1825 under the order of Andrew Jackson for the Indian peoples who were forcibly removed from areas in the east containing fertile lands, which non-Indian settlers desired. All right. When when the U.S. government took the land from the Indians and gave it to settlers, the area became the state of Oklahoma. Now, I mean, come on, man. You got that in the encyclopedia, actual terrorist act. Well, I'm not even finna say that, man. Let's keep reading because I'm not trying to get nothing flagged or nothing like that, man. Let's just keep reading, man. Or
Territory though, but you territory. Look, territory, Indian territory, terrorist, and you know what I'm saying. Like, I mean, but
man,
that's that the word is different when it's applied to other people. The other people they try to make it seem so innocent. No, he took the land from them so we can come here. Anything
Right.
that benefits everybody else, then it doesn't matter. No one is see the thing of it, and even when you're dealing with this on another element, they talk about the young lady Camilla Harris running for president, right? And you got black people running around here. Like, oh, another that bitch is Indian and her father's Jamaican, and then the Jamaican side of her family is the bougie Jamaicans. You know what I'm saying? The ones that you know what I'm saying that is the bougie ones. You figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But we look at everybody as the same thing, and people come here. They look like you. They act like you, but they don't think like you. That's how they able to make these, you know what I'm saying, to make these transitions and to become these so-called political and influential people. You gotta be a real scumbag to be a politician. I mean, you gotta sleep with married men. Politicians do some real greasy stuff, yo. And we already know this. At this point in time where we at now, we already know what this so-called corporation is about, and how the people that's appointed all put there to be in the best interest of the so-called corporation. So why every time it comes to anybody going for president, and I know that the president, we already done read the General Assembly, and we already know about all that. So I don't believe none of that presidential shit, none of that shit though. But I'm just saying, like, they on it so much to where they won't even give you a full black American. And I mean, only Aborigine American, Indigenous American. They won't even give you a full one. Motherfucker gotta have all these different moving pieces from other places. Think of it like this, right? What is the ratio to so-called black Americans to black immigrants? Okay, there's so-called 60 million of us. Now you can say out of 60 million, 10 million might be derived because I speak to a lot of people and they tell me they got West Indian in them or whatever. So there are black people who have like some West Indian in them. But for the most part of Aborigines that was living here in North America, right, what is the percentage of us to other immigrants? Or what's the percentage? What is the chances that that out of 60 to 70 million so-called black Americans that they can get a Barack Obama or a motherfucking Camilla Harris out of that? Why, like you would think that it would be for every one Obama or every one Camilla Harris, there would be a fucking 1,000 of us that's in there. Why are we not up in there? Why are we not the ones being promoted? They just give you anybody black, and then they don't have the same mind state as we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, and not to even really rant, I'm gonna go ahead so we can get this shit done because the piece is deep. But I just wanted to just touch on that since we was touching on since he made a point. But yeah, man, I mean, for the most part, that's what it is. They give us anybody black, and then we think that they black. Oh shit, she dancing to Cardi B. She gotta be one of us. But think of it like, hold up, a politician listening to Cardi B. Cardi B is a lower self human being. Why? Like I know people listening. I know people listening to Cardi. I don't though, and I ain't trying to be better than nobody. I didn't remove myself from certain aspects of this life shit. You know what I'm saying? And I can move. I can move through life, and I don't ever have to hear a Cardi B song or none of these other clowns. I ain't never in lifetime got to hear none of them, and I'm still gonna be a cool Indian or cool Aborigine. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, definitely just think about that. Think about that, people. How they always giving us these fucking like black. Always give you somebody who can be classified as black or who look like a so-called Aborigine or whatever though. But when you check their background, oh, their mother was from here or their father was from here. When you gonna get somebody? And like I said, we ain't gonna never get nobody because all of these niggas is coons and they all is sold out. But when are you going to get somebody from Mississippi and his mother from Mississippi and his father was from Tennessee and he going to fight? Because it's not in the best interest of the all. Like at this point in time, there's so many different immigrants here. There's so many different other people to where you just can't cater to black people no more. So therefore, we ain't gonna never get our bag because the people who speak up for us they're gonna shut you down from it. You somewhere and you talk about reparations, they're gonna say, oh no, we can't have that talk here. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna say, they're gonna shut it down. They're gonna say, but they're not gonna get that to me. But why they ain't gonna give it to it? Why? Because you're a coward? Why? Because you're a fucking coward? That's why they're not gonna give it to you? Or because of the money that we supposed to be getting, or what these people are not the money, the resources, or whatever. These people, like I said, we don't even want it to the point because think of it like this: if somebody took something from you, you shouldn't have to beg for it back. But in this case, that's what seems like at some point in time we ask for reparations that we be doing, but no, we asking for a so-called something that injured us to be repaired so we can move on from here. You know what I'm saying? And that's all it is, to move on from their closure. Closure would be, oh, you can get land in this certain area, or well, not no Oklahoma shit, none of that shit. Or wherever you choose to live at within North America, you tax exempt. You understand what I'm saying? You tax exempt. So you own your own land. Whatever point in time you at that particular, this is how it should be for American Aborigines. And with this, I'm gonna move on. But any American Aborigine, wherever you live at in North America, you should be able to be tax exempt. I mean, federal taxes, income taxes, all that shit, and property taxes. Meaning, if you live somewhere and you own a house there, that is your land until you decide to sell it. You understand what I'm saying? That'll be like, okay, well, that'll be cool. You ain't gotta give me no motherfucking presidents with no money on it, because all that shit owned by the motherfucking Rothschild. All the money that they give you, that's why the Federal Reserve and all that shit owned by the Rothschilds and by all of these crooks and J.P. Morgan Chases and the Rockefellers and all these other individuals. So that's why, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, that's how I'm thinking these days. But we could continue. Sorry about that rant, y'all. I believe we was at Oak. I continue if you where AP at?
I'm right here.
All right. You wanna continue or you want, because I
Yeah,
know we got pyramids coming up and I know you probably want to do pyramids.
we're Oregon. I mean, we're Oregon, right?
Yeah.
All right, Oregon. The origin of the name unclear. Possibly it was derived from the Oreunga or the Shawinian word for the place of plenty, or the Siouan or the Origin, which means great river to the west. Some scholars believe the name was derived from the Spanish origin, a name they used for some American Indian tribes in that particular region. Okay, let's move on. Tennessee comes from Tanasi, the Cherokee name for two villages on the Little River, which they named the two villages. The name was also spelled Tennessee or Tennessee or Tenanasi as early as 1567. The Spanish referred to the Indian settlement Tenaqua. Historians are uncertain what Tennessee means. Tennessee means. So let's move on. Texas. Texas, named after Tashi in the Kadu language, which names means hello friend. Spaniards adopted the term and to mean as many as friendly tribes throughout the Louisiana territory. They called the tribes that belonged to the Cato Confederacy in the in the western part of Louisiana, in the eastern parts of Texas, the Kingdom of the Tajis, or allies in beginnings. So that's pretty much what the name Texas is, arguably meaning. So let's move on down to Utah. Utah, the name given to the Navajo or the Dene by the White Mountain Apache, who called the Utah, or one that is higher up. One that is higher up. Most high, Judah, Utah, high, higher up. Let's go.
Damn.
European.
I don't think they caught that one. God damn. Hold up, man. Damn. Read that one more time, yo. Damn.
Let's go. The name given from the Navajo by the White Mountain Apaches, who called the Utah, or the one that is higher up. European.
Damn.
That's deep right there. That's deep. Let's go. The European understood that the Apache term to refer to the Utah who lived even farther north. So it was even people that was higher up than them. You see what I'm saying? So that's who they was giving a reference to. Let's go. Wisconsin. Let's see what this Wisconsin. Wisconsin, named after the Wisconsin River, the Chippewa or the Nishabi. Wisconsin means gathering of waters or grassy land. Some historians believe it meant the place where we live. The French first used it in 1695. They spelled it both uh, Awaskan or Mescon. I don't know how to pronounce that, but y'all see it. I apologize. Wyoming. We're going to go on to Wyoming, derived from two Lenni Lenape Delaware words, Maki Ramatin, which means at the big flat, and the translated to mean large plains. The Lenni Lenape people live in the Atlantic coast, far from the area known today as Wyoming. The tribe was given the name Delaware by the British after Lord de la Warr, an early Virginia governor. These people called themselves, hold on, my apologies. They called themselves Lenni Lenape or Lenape. The Kearney or Nebraska newspaper publishing for the southeast part of the Dakota Territory suggested the name Wyoming. So that's it right there. And here go the sources for further reading. You can go to Alabama Archives and History Department, or you can go to Alaskan Blue Book, which is going to break down the diversity of state libraries and archival museums. That's the source for that. So
That's heavyweight right there. Damn. All right. Fuck it. I'll touch on plastic surgery. Let me see something. All right, hold up. You know what? I'll
plastic
touch on.
surgery. You got I think we got plant classifications before that.
You want to keep it moving on that one, and I do plastic surgery.
Yeah, I do
Matter of
that.
fact, oh, okay,
I
go
do
ahead.
plant classification. All right, plant classification, 1100 AD. Classification systems are are ways of ordering knowledge. American Indians developed their own system of plant and botanic uh, classifications long before the Swedish botanists or the Carlos Linnaeus devised European botanical system for naming plants. In the mid 1700s, the lineage system for the flower plants was based on how many bristles or stamens and plant possess. In the way in which they were joined together, Aztec Hor- horticulture classified plants according to their form, their use, and their economic value. For their use and their economic value, the form categories categorized were trees, what was trees, what was bushes, and what was herbs. So the same system we use today, like okay, that's a tree, that's a bush, that's a plant, that's a flower, that's a weed. We set that same system up. Okay, let's be clear.
Hmm. Damn, yeah. That's
The,
what's up, yo.
the use of categories included medicinal, right? Food, herb, and miscellaneous. So the categories included the economic category divided into plants according to whether they were used to making clothing, for building, or for other economic uses. Hold on a second. The sophisticated system predate the work of the lineage by at least 400 years. So the lineage was started in the mid 1700s. 400 years before that put it at least at 1300 BC. So we talking before anybody was categorizing and putting these things in order for what we need to use these plants for today. That's ecology. Okay, understanding the plants. Nearly every American Indian cultural group throughout the Americas organized their plants they encountered in their environment to into categories. For example, Thompson Indians, who lived in the British Columbian, named medicinal plants according to the specific use. They grouped some plants with others that tended to grow in the same location. Ethnographers working from the ecocentric viewpoint trended to dismiss the validity of any system not based on linear models. So they try to discredit the systems that the American Indian had put up and put in place, even though they was way more accurate and predates the linear model. Only recently have American Indians plant classification system been the subject of serious studies by non-Indian scientists. So now only recently they're starting to dive into okay, well these guys already had it figured out before we even thought about it. Let's start looking into their systems. Okay, because that's key who realize that they are both sophisticated and workable. And for further reading, you can go to pharmaceuticals. And for the source reading, you can go to Kendall Clare Sue and Peter Nawapik, Directions in the Native American Science and Technology, the study of American Aborigines problems and practice by by Russell Thornton. So y'all can finish our reading up with that. Go ahead, brother. You can go on with plastic surgery.
No doubt, no doubt. Good looking, AP. All right, so we got plastic surgery from 1100 AD, 1519 AD, Mesoamerica, North America, Northeast culture, plastic surgery. Hold on, let me open up a little bit. All right. Plastic surgery is the field of medicine that involves restoring or repairing defective or missing tissue or structure on a human body. The Aztec who empire was established in about 1100 AD was expert at surgery. Aztec surgeons were able to perform complex and delicate procedures unknown to Europeans. Hold up. Let's read that one more time. The Aztec surgeons were able to perform complex and delicate procedures unknown to European physicians practicing during the Middle Ages. Plastic surgery was the only one of these techniques in the book of medical practices in ancient America. Oh, we need to hold up. Oh, we need to. That's a source. That is the source, y'all. Somebody get that. Let me write that down real quick. I don't want to lose that. I need that for something, y'all. Hold up. All right. All right. In the book, Medical Practices in Ancient America, Arthur Miguel Peredo provides information about the writing and the fray. Bernan Denino, whatever it's he did, Shahan, whatever it say, Aztec plastic surgery. Shahan Gun tells us that doctors endeavors to treat face wounds with such care that no pronounced scars will remain. Cuts and wounds after the nose, after the accident, had to be treated with suturing with hairs from the head. It say, and by applying the stitches and the wounds with white honey and salt. After this, if the nose fell off or if the treatment was a failure, an artificial nose took the place of the real one. In the cases where lips were cut open, the Aztec physician would suture them with human hair. Okay, so basically, I guess sew them together or put them back together with human hair. It say after the suturing, it say was completed, the doctors would pour magui juice on the wound. That's agave. Magui juice had antibiotic healing properties. They see antibiotics. If the wound area became a unsightly blemish, for the reasons of physicians perform the whole procedure again until the wounded healed normally. The Chippewa northeast of the northeast in North America perform surgery to repair torn air and trim the air tissues so that both sides of the tear match up evenly, and then they center them together. So I guess center means basically to like sew, another word for sew or bind or something, if you will. But that is very interesting, and look where it's coming out at. Look, and now check this out. Check this out, right? All right, so the sources, Harold Driver, right? It's a Indians and North American, Chicago University Press. You got Ortez, Bernard Ortez de Montellano, Aztec Medicine, Health, Nutrition. That's New Brunswick, Rutgers University. Okay. You got Miguel Vargo, American Indian Medicine, University of Oklahoma. Now check this out, right? Now one would say to themselves, well, hold up. If the Africans been doing this, then why are they not saying anything about Africans? Why would this be so profound for it to be here if you already know it was done by the Africans? So now, a joker like SETI, is he gonna come and say that the damn Africans came here to North America and showed us how to do all this? Really? So the Africans came here, and let me tell y'all something too, right? For those of you guys that was listening to SETI video, right, dealing with these Olmec heads, right? You will be a motherfucking fool to believe that they brought them Olmec heads from Africa on boats over here to to America. You will be one of the biggest dummies on the planet. Who will take? First of all, how was they transporting these things, bro? Man. How was they transporting them? They had X-Men.
Why didn't they leave one in Africa?
Exactly. Bro. Yo, listen. If you look, see, people ain't got maps. That's the reason why anybody can tell you this stuff, because most people don't have a map on their wall. But please get a map and look at a damn map and see. So he think people came from Kemet, which is Egypt, or the northeastern part of Africa, right? Look how far the northeastern part of Africa is to Central America. Now, what, you put them on boats and you look the north where Egypt is at, right? By the time you get to like the area which would be West Africa, that's you almost traveled the whole size of the United States by boat. And then you didn't even get to then you didn't even get to America yet. So you think these people traveling that far to bring some damn heads and put them in Central America? No, them people been there. Ain't no omics come from no damn Africa, man. And you know, like I said, and even when you're dealing with stuff like this, like what we read in here, this phenomenal stuff that's inside this encyclopedia, if this stuff was brought to us by Africans, then why are they giving accommodations to us? Why are they not saying, oh, the Africans bought this their such and such is or anything?
Right.
Because
And it would say that if we got it from Africa, it'd be like this culture was, or this was adopted by Africans from whatever, you know. But that's not the
Right.
case. We're dealing with encyclopedia. This is empirical data, information. You know, this is archive. You know, Smithsonian, and you know, this is information that you really want to look for, that you try to find. And just so happened we got it in one book in ABC order.
man, listen, hold up. I'm reading. I'm about to do Plaza. I think we getting close to pyramids. We're gonna keep it moving until we get to pyramid. But let me do Plaza, and then you guys can do whatever you want to do from there. Cause I know, like I said, I know we got pyramids coming up, so I want to rock it all the way out till we get to pyramids. But I want to touch on this real quick. Just touch on a little bit of it real quick. All right. So here we go. We got all right. So, but you see platinum right now. Hold up.
Yeah.
You know what? Hold up. You know what? You want to touch on that real quick, Jack?
I was gonna say, I don't know. I mean, I knew I was gonna go back to it regardless, but you know, because
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it, bro. Because you
yeah,
know why? You know why it'd be a good point? Because this is something that's supposed to be found in Africa.
right. That's right.
Let's talk about it.
Okay. So we talking about something that was found before the word Africa, most definitely. Calculated at 300 BC, South American Andean cultures. Okay, so before I get into this, I'm just saying, I know everybody, you know, be in different levels of life and situations on what they feel is important. You know what I'm saying? Some people war ready, some people strictly spiritual or religious or whatever. And some of us, you know, still like to have fun. Some of us still like to shine. Some of us still like a little glamour in our life or whatever. But when it comes to like these precious metals and stuff like that, um, they got a lot to do with this technology too. So keep that in mind. But platinum myself is one of my favorites, not because it's supposed to be the most shiniest or nothing like that. You know, I always have wanted something platinum myself, but you know, I don't see nothing wrong with anybody wearing any jewelry or grill in their mouth or anything. Like if you can afford it, and you know, that's on you. But let's get with it, man. Platinum is a precious metal that is more valuable than gold. One of the main reasons for this is the less platinum exists in the world than any other precious metal. According to some experts, if all the platinum in the earth were mined, it could fit into an average sized room. Platinum is also the strongest precious metal and has tremendous durability. American Indians who lived in Northwest South America in the areas that are now Colombia and Ecuador found platinum along with silver on the banks of streams and rivers. Excellent metallurgists, they managed to work the platinum, a feat today's scientists believe was nearly impossible. J. Alden Mason, author of Ancient Civilizations of Peru, states the discovery of ornaments of platinum on the coast of Ecuador has astounded modern metallurgists for its melting point, about 1770 degrees Celsius, which is equal to 3218 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot. Is beyond the capability of primitive furnaces. All right. Y'all beat that. I mean, I know that might be a little, ain't nothing too deep, but that's deep. But although pre-contact American Indians did not possess a furnace or kiln capable of producing this kind of heat, they were able to develop a brilliant solution in the form of a process called sintering to make an alloy of platinum and gold using only stone age tools. Once the platinum gold alloy was reduced, it lowered the melting point of the platinum, making it more malleable. European metal workers did not make objects from platinum until the 19th century. Let's get it.
Man. Yeah, man.
That
That's
was
heavy
kind of
right
deep
there.
right there. That was real. That's man. I mean, I don't even have more.
So where the African sources at? Why they not saying, well, I thought African had all the pro, and like I said, listen, this is not even no, like, understand something, right? Because I got an email and someone called us petty because of how we be trying to differentiate, or we say, oh well, fuck it, it doesn't matter. It was Aborigines everywhere around the world. Well, I just look at it from a different point. I look at it to the point to where, well, why do everybody want to come here? I'm not saying that you don't have the right to come here, but obviously we got something here that other people don't have. Why do they choose to establish what they established here, these Europeans? They could have did that anywhere. They could have did that in Africa. They could establish the United States in Africa if they had it like they claim they did. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So, even when you looking at that, man, like, you think all these precious metals, everybody tell you precious metals and all the diamonds and all. They found diamonds here too. They found all types of gems. When you look at Indiana Jones and you see all that shit is over here. That's not over there. That's over here. You know, just all these temples. You don't hear about no temples and stuff like that in Africa. You don't hear about none of that. You hear about all that over here. You understand what I'm saying? And to the point to where, like we said, we touching on metals, platinum, gold. Why would Ghana or whatever what's the other African country? It's eluding me right now. They call it Gold Coast. If they found gold here, why didn't they go right over there? Okay, you know about Mansa Musa, you know the Moors went gold. Okay, so you should be going right to Africa to get the gold. Why is Columbus, if he had contact with Moors, coming to America for gold? If he had contact with Moors, I mean, because already he would already know. Well, let's not say contact, because even what we pretty much believe now, when they tell you North Africa is motherfucking Europe. North Africa is Spain, Portugal, France, Turkey. All of that shit is what we consider North Africa. So when they tell you North Africa, they're telling you that the people was already there. So when they tell you about the Phoenicians and Tunisia and all this other stuff, they're saying that shit was in Europe first. Because where Hannibal and them was at, they was in what we consider to be North Africa. So think of it like this: we know it's no such thing as Africa, right? But now that we know there's an Africa, north of Africa would be Spain, Portuguese, and France. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
North of it, north of it, north of it. That's
Right.
why Spain didn't have no name. It wasn't no Spain until 1495. You understand what I'm saying? There was no Spain. There was no Spain. It had a Arabic name, and it's not even really Arabic. Because so you would think Algonquin would be Arabic.
Right.
What you know what I'm saying? You see something like Algonquin, you would think that would be Arabic. So, like I said, gotta really study. You can't just study Aborigines because they don't have all the answers their motherfucking self. So you have to study. Study, 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 study if it means anything to you. If you have the time and this is something that you're interested in, there's a good video. I believe it's on Moors of America, with Peter Moon on it. And Peter Moon talks about the Montauk Indians, man. And he tells you that these people are black. And he tells you that Nat Turner, well, this is what he was saying, okay? Now, I've heard other people say that he was part of the Nottawas and some of the other tribes in Virginia. But Peter Moon said that Nat Turner was directly descendants of the Montauk Indians, too. I don't know how this happened, but find the interview. It's More Than America with Peter Moon on it. Like I said, if you can stomach the word more, listen to the information and derive the information. You understand what I'm saying? Because like I said, a lot of this stuff I'm just looking at like, oh, okay, I'm already understand it. You understand what I'm saying? Also, another good video the brother got on there is with the Ducatiz and how he talks about Peru and how he talks about like I said, this is only for people who can stomach the word more. Same for people who gonna eat. Oh man, we not more. Okay, I get it. All right, I get it. I get it. I get it. But I'm seeking information. So if I'm seeking information, I'm listening out for things that people not touching on because they got these certain prejudices. You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, I would not be listening to a lot of these European races because a lot of these so-called Christian channels where they be talking about a lot of the finds that they found in North America, like, like your David Childress and all of them are for white power. They white Christians wanting white power. But guess what, though? I get a lot of information from a lot of them different sources. So like I said, you got to really go down a rabbit hole when you're dealing with this. You can't sit there and say, "Oh, he said more. I can't listen to him no more." You know what I'm saying? Because he said we're Moors. I can't listen to him no more. That's what I'm saying. Like, Moore is this dark skinned person, a dark skinned complexion person. But check out the video interview, and it's for any of you guys in the chat room. Listen to it later on. Please check out that Peter Moon video. It's very informative, and Peter Moon got some other good videos that he had on Know the Ledge Radio. He got a bunch of them, but definitely check it out though. But where was we at, man? All right, so my bad. I went on another rant, y'all. All right, so we are at plumbing. So it's a 1700 BC to 400 BC. It's a pipes refer to pipes and fixtures used to conduct water into a building or remove wastewater. The Olmec whose culture arose in the Yucatan Peninsula, what is now Mexico, who else they found in the Yucatan Peninsula, Naya. It says about 1700 BC were the first known American Indians to use plumbing. It say they decided to independently of the plumbing system invented in the Middle East. No, hold on. I'm sorry. They developed an independently different one of the plumbings invented in the Middle East and the Mediterranean. Say Romans built aqueducts to deliver fresh water to the cities. To the cities they established throughout Europe. The Olmecs made their water conducts and carved rectangle U-shaped blocks about 3 to 5 feet long. They covered them with capstones and kept the water from evaporating or becoming polluted. See water conservation. The conduits were built to provide water to individual building in a community. Later, Mesoamerican cultures such as the Aztec, who empire was established in what is now Mexico in about AD 1100 AD, follow suit. Now check this out. SETI, Remember, your boys, the Olmecs, because this is what most of the Pan Africans try to do, right? They try to connect the Olmecs to the Americas, and they say, "Bam, that's the only reason why y'all had civilizations over there, Aborigines, because of the Olmecs." And the Olmecs was Africans. The Olmecs was not African. They was not. The reason why they finding them head buried, and I think that it's a little bit deeper than what we believe, because if these heads are buried in what, like the way that they finding them, that might be a lot older than what we believe it to be. You understand what I'm saying? But for the most part, that's how they connect us to Africa, with these Olmecs came there. How prove it? Show me that the Olmecs came here. Show me how Olmec gonna move with them giant heads and come all the way from motherfucking come all the way from Egypt or wherever the hell they was, because they ain't wasn't coming from West Africa. These niggas ain't West Africans. They only give accommodations to North Africa, which is Egypt. That's the only people they give accommodate. Yeah, they go to South Africa, they go to different, but when it comes to civilization and they come to any great civilization, they always equate that to Egypt. Well, if Egypt was doing all this, then why there's no other spectacular findings anywhere else throughout Africa?
That's right.
Can't find nothing. So if these people was teaching us over here how to build shit, why wasn't they teaching their own people in Africa to build it? Why they had to go all the way over to Central America? Why they didn't go to West Africa, go to South Africa and build nothing? Think about it. Think about it. So they left Egypt, and no, we left here and went to Egypt. That's the way it went down.
That's right.
You understand? We left here and went to Egypt. You understand? Because for some reason, what I keep on thinking is we had some contact with people in what we consider to be North Africa. Whether it was what you call the Phoenicians, either the Phoenicians left from the Americas, because you could think of it like this, right? Why do you find Phoenician script in Mesoamerica? Why do you find Phoenician scripts that the Mayans was dealing with and Olmecs? They said that the first 10 Commandments was written in Phoenician. So that would lead one, that would have one believe that either when they talk about the Phoenicians and Hannibal, that shit might have been over here in the Americas, man. Might have been over here in the Americas, bro. Might have been over here. Might have been over here. Just straight up, it might have been over here. I've heard that he was in Florida. I heard that the Phoenicians was in Florida as well. You know, like I said, man, you know, right. I've heard so much information on this to where, like, you know, I've stopped writing stuff down because I've heard so much stuff, and it all connects back to the Americas, because this is the one place that all this stuff is not supposed to be. So that would have one assume that why was they hiding all this stuff for all this time? Why are they not telling you that there's more pyramids over here than it is over there? Why would they be hiding the fact that Supe, Peru is just as old? Now, when I say we know it's older, but the J say something is just as old, and then these people from over there came here to teach us, but we reading shit here and got sources, and they say, well, the Africans took plumbing to America and such, and that's the way it happened. No, they saying this shit is independent from the Middle Eastern and the Middle Earth, Mediterranean. You know what I'm saying? We're saying long before the Romans built aqueducts. Long before the Romans built aqueducts to deliver fresh drinking water, the cities they established throughout Europe, the Olmecs made their water conducts and carved them in rectangular shapes, U-shaped blocks. So they saying that was already here. Let me keep it moving, man. All right, so it says transported out the community manually as well. It say these canal systems each consisted of dual plastered line canals, allowing one to be cleaned or repaired while the other continued to bring in fresh water. South American culture groups also developed plumbing. The Charavan who culture flourished in what is now Peru from about 900 BC to 200 BC was one of them. They also produce intricate ventilation systems. The Incas, who established an empire in what is now Peru in about 1100, no, about 1000 AD, made stone water conduits. In addition to these, they also use copper pipes. What do we use today? Copper pipes. Where did they get that idea from? Okay, it say to transport hot and cold water to sunken tubs in the bathhouses. It say when the conquistadors saw the plumbing of the Incas, they were impressed. They was impressed by everything. They wasn't just impressed by that. They was impressed by everything. Bastards try to make it seem like they guess y'all ain't have none of this stuff, so of course you will be impressed. Y'all ain't have none of the stuff that was over here. Talking about when the conquistadors came here, they was impressed. They was impressed by everything. In contrast to sanitation practices, the indigenous Americans, Europeans had made minimal improvements on the plumbing conduits. The Romans had built throughout the continent hundreds of years before. The aqueducts would not be improved until the 1800s. In North America, colonists revealed themselves in the forest and in chamber pots they empties into the streets. Outhouses either had a bucket or a pit to hold waste. Often they were constructed dangerously close to well. The colonists disposed of their garbage by tossing it in on the street along with the contents of the chamber pots. Even long cities lack plumbing. Boston was one of the cities to provide fresh water for its dwellings, did so in the mid-1800s and made pipes out of wood. They made pipes out of woods, these primitive bastards. In the 1800s, look, in the 1800s, nigga, they just making pipes out of woods. Like, you nigga, you peon, like, come on, man. They didn't evolved and shit. Now look at your sources right here. Now look at the sources: Rutgers University, Stanford University Press, American Heritage Publish Company, and it's another one right here. It's a Art History, Columbia, whatever. These is major sources right here, man. These are major sources, and they're not saying that they came from Kemet. Okay, they're not saying that they came from Kemet. And like I said, if they came from Kemet, I'll have no problem with it. But why these beautiful structures and these beautiful inventions and and all the stuff that we was doing, why is this stuff over here and they not giving a source to someone coming here teaching us this? But we giving sources, they giving us the source, they making you the source that you taught the Europeans this. Because wouldn't you believe that you would think that the Africans taught the Europeans? You know what I'm saying? Because even when the European went to Africa, what was the Africans doing? What was they doing? What was they doing over there? What did they get from the Africans when they don't think they got shit from them? They ain't got running water right now. So I mean, like, I think you just gotta think about it. You gotta think about it, man. If we was being taught all this time that everything was created in Africa, then they would be given sources. They would be like, well, the Africans had to come here because how would they know how to do it? You see how that worked? Well, you know, the Africans was traveling all around the world, so they went and taught everybody everything, and that's the reason. Man, get the fuck out of here. And this is what they be telling us, man, and we fall for the bullshit, man. So I mean, let's keep it moving, man. I want to get to you got I'll just read these little things. These ain't nothing important. You got Porton Bridges, popcorn. All right, you know, we made popcorn. Ponchos. You know what a poncho is? Poncho is a motherfucking raincoat. Or, you know, like one of them plastic jackets you see the people wearing and shit. Like when you they out there when they working in the rain or whatever. Matter of fact, you know what? Hold up. Fuck it. I'll read a little bit of it real quick. It say ponchos are simple garments, unsold sides. It say they are constructed by making a slit for the neck and a length of fabric that is then hold it over the wearer's shoulder. All right, now check this out. I say the Mapuche, who culture was established before European contact, who lived in what is now Chile and Argentina, are believed to have been the first to invent the garment. See, anthropologists believe the Mapuche, who quickly adapted the Equestrian whatever lifestyle after the Spanish introduced the horse. Now he said introduced the horse. The horse been here. Modified the garment from the shirt and so the side. But nonetheless, though, you see today, right, that the poncho is still the same. It ain't changed. They ain't changed nothing. Just like nothing else they changed. If you look at the poncho today, the poncho still look the same as described that was made in antiquity. You know what I'm saying? So like that go to show you how like people say, oh, well, certain things is primitive and certain things. Nah, all these people did was steal everything from all of the indigenous people, take that shit, market it, and then tell you that you ain't having to do with none of this stuff. All right. So, what is this right here? It says popcorn and place in airs. Oh, check this out. This a popcorn popper, y'all. Look, check this out. Look, this a popcorn popper right here. Yo, anybody remember how you used to get the Jiffy popcorn, and they used to have like it had a handle on it, the foil, and it used to have a thing over the top of it. You put it on the stove and it start
blow up.
it start popping. This is the same thing right here. Look, this is the same thing right here. Look, check this out. It say the popcorn popper are containers specifically designed for making popcorn. The first method of popcorn that the American Indian used was thrown into kettles on hot coal. Okay, hot coal. Coal ain't nothing but hot pieces of coal that you can put your food on and heat the pot up and heat what's ever in the pot up. You know what I'm saying? It say and collect them after they pop. It say another way was to push a stick to push a stick through the cob and toast the whole air in the flame. Sometimes they spread animal fat on the air. Now look, it say sometimes they spread animal fat on the air. What is animal fat? It's animal fat. Butter, right?
Yeah.
It's animal fat, right? Butter come from butter is a source of dairy, which come from a cow, if you will, a source of animal fat. All right, so like I said, ain't nothing new up under the sun. This stuff been going on. We've been doing this stuff. These people then came and took all your inventions and then made you into a Negro. All right, potatoes. We already know about potato chip. And look, check this out, y'all. Matter of fact, let me touch on this real quick. Now look, listen to this, right? Check this out, right? Listen to this. Listen to this right here. Potato chip, 1853. North American culture. Popcorn chip are thinly sliced potatoes that have been deep fried in oil until they are crisp. Although American Indians had cultivated potatoes for thousands of years, the potato chip is a modern invention devised by George Crumb. Now check this out. George Crumb, a Mohawk cook. Now check this out. Hold up real quick. Hold up. Let me stop sharing this real quick. Let's go here. Check this out. All right, let's go out of here. Let's see what George Crumb looked like. Check this out. What do George Crumb look like? He was a what?
You killed him right there, big bro.
Look. Hold up. You know what? Hold on. Let's read his Wikipedia page. Let's go here real quick. What's that Wikipedia? Hold on, let me see something.
Blow the
Look,
picture up right quick, though, bro. Blow the
you
picture.
said throw the picture. Look, look. This is George Crumb right here, man. Everybody already know who George Crumb is for the most part, but they didn't catch that. That shit flew over their head. Look, this is George Crumb, right? But hold up, but hold up, attention this one. What? Hold up, what was George Crumb? It says the potato chip is a modern invention devised by George Crumb, a Mohawk cook at the elegant resort of Saratoga Spring in New York. During the summer of 1853, wealthy railroad baron Cornelius Vanderbilt, a diner at the Moon Lake Lodge, sent a plate of French fries back into the kitchen, complaining they were too thick. Chef Crumb made another order at the time, slicing the potatoes thinner. That too was rejected. Angry Crumb decided to shave the potato into a paper thin slices with a pillar so they wouldn't be too crisp to eat with a fork. They were fried. Now check this out. Check this out, okay? It says George Crumb, a Mohawk cook. Why are they not telling you he's a Negro? This is George Crumb right here, okay? This is George Crumb right here, okay? This is George Crumb right here. Why are they not telling you he's a Negro? I mean, can anybody answer that, please? I mean, can anybody answer that? Why they got him as a Mohawk?
All right, because they identify him correctly in the encyclopedia.
Wow. God damn, boy. They put it right in our face every time, and we never get it. Now, check this out. I just wanted the readers to just check this out. I wanted to read a little bit of his bio. That's a heavyweight joint right here, man. That's a heavyweight joint right there. Oh snap! That's a heavyweight joint right there. Let me see something else. Let me see something. Check this out. I want to see his Wikipedia page, and I don't normally go to Wikipedia, but it's just pretty much just to see what they're calling him. See if they even mention that he's an Indian. Look what they got George Crumb looking like. Look. Look. You see what they got him looking like? Let me see something. You see what they got him looking like on Wikipedia? Look. Let me see something. George Speck, also called George Crow. It say 1824 to July 22nd, was an American chef, creator of the potato chip. It say he worked as a hunter, guide, and a cook. It's saying the Araduck Mountains. It say and became renowned for his culinary skill at the Moon Lake House at Saratoga Lake. Now look. You see what they got him looking like?
Yeah, they just switched the picture up.
Exactly. Now check this out. That's
why you gotta watch Wikipedia, folks. You gotta know what you're doing when you're researching on that Wikipedia. That's why we showed you the encyclopedia first. You seen what it said. The information about him is correct, but look at the image. Come on. Man.
And this is one of the sources where they got it wrong, where it shows you how Wikipedia could be wrong. This is one of the cases right here, because you know what? Every now and then I do catch a case where they do something like this. Now look, it says Speck. It says Speck was born on July 15th, 1824 in Saratoga County, upstate New York. Some sources suggest that his family lived in Ballston Spas, Malta. Others suggest that they came from the Adirondacks, depending upon the source. His father Abraham and his mother Diana was variously identified as African Americans. Okay, it say on Oneida, Stockbridge, or Mohawk. Now check this out, or Mohawk. It say some sources associate the family with the St. Regis our conquest, it say the Mohawk reservation, whatever. All right, so it say like other Native Americans or mixed race people or that era was variously described as Indian, mulatto, and black. You see how these motherfuckers is lying? Like, look, 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 look. This man did not come from these people right here. You see these how them people look? This is not his family. See, you see how they got, this is George Crumb, this black man right here, right? But they're trying to make this his family right here for some reason. They saying that this is his family right here. See this? See these people right here? Look, they try to say that this is George Crumb. See that? Look at that. And they somebody even wrote and try to deceive the people. Like wherever you look for George Crumb at, you're gonna see him. They're gonna tell you that this is him right here. Let me see something. What they're saying right here today. Fuck is this? Oh, all right, boom, yeah. Let me see something real quick. All right, boom. See, they still giving this man credit for. You see this? They keep saying, oh, they saying George was born George Speck. His mother was Native American. His father was a free African American. They trying to say that these are his parents right here. They trying to say that they're trying to say that these people basically made this man right here. They trying to say that this man came from them people right there.
It seems pretty impossible to me.
Come on, man. Come on, stop it. Like you see what I'm saying? Like how, but that's how you really do research, because I already know. Like, look, listen, I'm a chef, and what I was going to do was I was going to put together like a potato chip company, because I was looking, I'm like, yo, how the fuck was a potato chip made by a black man, but none of these people, none of us own potato chip company. I don't even think Rap Snaps is owned by a black man. Shit, that shit probably owned by some cracker. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, like, I was going to do something and put George Crumb, and I was actually in contact with one of his I think one of his granddaughters or something of that order, whatever, because I was trying to use his name to make something, and I don't want to be giving y'all my you know what I'm saying, my plans and shit. But yeah, I was going to do something with his name on it. You know what I'm saying? But because I was like, yo, don't know black people own no potato chip company. Most people don't even know that potato chips were created by a black man or created by Aborigine, whatever you want to call indigenous American or whatever. But it shows you right there, man. You know, like I said, when you read a lot of this stuff, you find out the truth. And they can't hide the truth, man. They just can't hide it, man. So let's keep it moving, man. All right, so we had potato chip. We just talked about that. Pottery. All right. Pottery. When they try to tell you, oh, and then the thing what they try to tell you, even with pottery, right? They try to tell you that pottery came from Africa, right? But at the same token, they tell you, oh yeah, what tribe is that? I believe it's the Gutcha, the Gullah. They say because they knew how to make pottery, that's how it's Africans, saying that we ain't make pottery here. All right. I'll just touch on pottery real quick. Pottery, ceramic, 300 BC, North American, Northeast, Southeast, Southwest, Mesoamerica, Caribbean, South America, Adine culture. Now that's basically everywhere. North America, Northeast, South America. No, it say Northeast, Southeast. Okay, so we more in the Southeast, Northeast area. All right, so it's a pottery objects are made from clay that is heated so it will not absorb water and soften. The fire pottery is also called ceramic. Indians throughout the American produce a number of pottery items, inventing the process of shaping and firing clay independently of technique used by another world culture. The oldest piece of pottery in America was discovered in the area of what is now Puerto Port of Hamagus in Colombia. It says South America is dated 3000 BC. Archaeologists believe that basket weaving techniques influenced the form of pottery in America. Indigenous American pottery constructed pottery objects using three techniques called colon, molding, and modeling. Sometimes these were a hold on one second, yo. That might be my finish this for me. That might be my exterminator. So finish that for me real quick, Jack.
All right, where exactly you was at? Cause I was reading ahead. My bad on that one. Anyway, where exactly where you was at on that one? Uh, Either way, I just start. I'm gonna start where I was at because I can't even remember where he was at. That's on me, y'all. That's my bad. That's how we do though. We be getting ahead of ourselves sometimes. But I got right here on down pre-contact. People of the Americas also made musical instruments from fired clay. The oldest instruments were whistles. The earliest clay whistle found so far is one that is 1500 years old, made by the Maya of Mesoamerica. Maya culture arose in about 1500 BC. It says other instruments created by American Indian potters included flutes, drums, ocarinas, panpipes, and horns. South American potters made long ceramic tools used for blowing on the fires used for smelting ore. All right. It says South American cultures began making pottery as early as 3000 BC in what are now Ecuador, Colombia, and the Amazon lowlands. They made shallow bowls and necklace cooking pots that were used to boil food. The first decorations these South Americans made on pottery consisted of strips of clay that were applied or appliqued to the pot or bowl. And you back, bro?
Yeah, I'm back.
All right, yeah, I couldn't figure out where you was at, so I had just kind of jumped down where I was reading that ahead, man. But
That's all good. It's all good. I mean, shit, but that's pretty much, it's pretty much from there self-explanatory. If it's saying 300, 3000 BC, which, like I said, a lot of these dates, some of these dates can be either, they can either be longer, because I don't, really, real talk, I don't, I don't try to get caught up with the timeline or how old the, I mean, how old the
yeah,
planet
I
is and
know
all that.
they supposed to be. You supposed to look at it as at least on every date. On every date, it's supposed to be. You would look at it as at least say 3000 years. Like that's like a good general solid number that they can say that this has been at least 3000 years, not just 3000 years is the exact date. That's how it really worked. But some people like to be so literal. They were like, "Yo, it says 5000 BC. That's it." No, that means it's at least 5000 BC. Or if it say 2500 BC, that means that it's at least 2500 BC. You know what I'm saying? So, because the dating, they tell you that the dating ain't accurate. So they just giving you a marker to start at. But most people try to take it too literal. You know what I'm saying? So
Bro, pottery is long. You see that shit?
yeah, it's
Um, Pottery is very long. Let me see something. I was trying to see where pyramids is at, but we got a few coming up. We gonna finish the piece, man. I'm gonna stay rocking. We're gonna stay rocking until we get to the pyramids. All right, so you know what? What I
got
wanted to do, I don't know. I ain't gonna go further on the pottery because the pottery is long as hell. We pretty much got a understanding of that we was doing pottery here. I seen something else real quick I wanted to really touch on. Um, Sweet potato. That's what I was looking at. Because the potato is something that's important too. Because a lot of people don't know that the potato was found here, and they try to make it seem like the potato was found in, um, you know what I'm saying, over there in Europe. But if it wasn't for the potato, like they said, millions of so-called Europeans would have died because of when they took the potato over there. It helped. Like this is the way that they would survive, right? So, all right. So hold up. Let me see something. Let's bear with me real quick, yo. All right. All right. Let me just. I'm gonna touch on the potato, a little bit of potato. All right. So potatoes are tuber producing crops indigenous to the Americas. All right. So that's all you need to know. Indigenous to the Americas. All right. So it say the plant belonged to the Solanaca family, which is the tobacco, tomato, and chili. It say also belong over 200 varieties of wild potatoes from what is now Colorado to what are now Chile and Argentina. The indigenous people of the Andine region of South America was the first to domesticate potatoes and cultivate them as a food crop. The earliest potatoes found archaeologist site of central Peru has been dated about 8,000 BC. Scientists believe, now listen, that's in Peru. 8,000 BC. Now, the reason they say 8,000 BC because they telling you that Peru was already dealing with agriculture way before then. You know what I'm saying? So, and like I said, like a lot of them plants, and I mean a lot of them pyramids, and when you talk about the Chuchilla mummies and all that shit going back 9,000 BC, 10,000 BC. This is way before you know anything about Egypt or Kemet and none of that stuff. All right, but scientists believe that American Indians began domesticating potatoes at the end of the Ice Age. 4,000 years later, indigenous people living in the Andine highland had begun to rely on potatoes as a major part of their diet. By about 2000 BC, Indians in the coastal regions of what now is Peru also cultivating these crops extensively during the reign of the Incas, who established their empires in what is now Peru. In about 10,000 BC, American Indian farmers were growers not only of white potatoes, red, yellow, blue, black, green, and brown ones as well. They were deliberators. It say developing potatoes of various sizing and shape. That's what do well under a number of growing conditions. It say because the potato are easily grown, flourish in a number of climates, and are high in both vitamin C and starch. They were an efficient way to meet the dietary needs of a number of people. 1531, when the Spanish conquistador Francis landed in what is now Peru, the indigenous Andine people had developed about 3,000 types of potatoes and had it also invented a method of freeze drying them to store. The Incas, who called potatoes papas in the Quechua, their language, ate boiled potatoes and a vegetable, and also made a kind of unleavened potato bread made from the flour that had been grounded from the freeze dried potatoes. They also added the potato flour to soup stews and made gruel. Now, if anybody know potato flour, that's just a thickening. It made gruels and porridge. Okay, it's a from Pedro de Caesar, who traveled with Francisco. It's a compare potatoes to chestnut because the tuber grew underground and were small. The Spaniards believed potatoes were truffle and began to call them Trotterful. They say when English explorer Sir Francis Drake crossed the Straits of Mount Magellan, they say he ate potatoes on the coast of what is now Chile. That same year, historians are uncertain exactly whether Spanish or the English brought the potato to Europe. It is clear, however, that for the first 200 years, European gated potato mix reviews. I'm gonna keep on reading on this a little bit. All right. It say one, no, it say on one hand, many of self-appointed experts claimed that the potatoes was not fit for human consumption. Say because it has been mentioned in the Bible in 1618, potatoes were banned from Burgundy regions of France. People were convinced by eating potatoes that called leprosy. Say in Switzerland, an expert blamed potatoes for causing scaphola, a disease characterized by the swollen gland coughing. Some European Orthodox religion sects declared that the potato was the devil plant and made it a sin for their members to eat it. German peasants refused to eat potatoes, but the English author on the day of William Solomon told the readers that the potato will cure and no, the potato will cure consumptions and diarrhea. It say, however, he warned they increase seed and provoke lust, causing fruitfulness in both sexes. Until the late 1700s, the French believed potatoes were an aphrodisiac as well. Despite the debate, the Spanish adapted the potato as part of the basic ship stores in addition to feeding them to the indigenous miners. They say that they forced to work in the Dean silver mines. After the conquest, they see precious metal. They say Spanish speculators who bought dry potatoes and sold them to the mines, made fortunes in free dried potato trades. In Europe, peasant farmers in the northern Spain began growing potatoes, and by 1601, the crop was cultivated by peasants in Italy and added potatoes to stews along with traditional turnips and carrots. All right. Now hold up. I'm gonna read. Let me read. I'm gonna read this last paragraph. All right, because this is what I
Yeah.
wanted. This is what I'm trying to get to right here, and we done. After a number of severe famines swept across Europe in the 1700s. Now look, they
And
say after. Record. What you gonna say?
oh no, I was saying it said famines.
Oh, famine. Now look, you see that famines. That means like diseases and shit, right? Now that could be also a form of the black when they talk about the black plague and the black ages. I believe this is when they talking about right here around the 1700s, man. Around the 1700s when they start talking about the plagues and the black when they said that Europe went into
Dark
the
Age.
dark ages, right? Now remember, when they come out of this, then you get the Renaissance out of that. You get the Renaissance out of the dark ages. So after they went through, why was they in the dark ages? Because they basically was warming with a lot of indigenous people. So therefore, a lot of stuff that the indigenous people was able to bring, because we get read how they was living, how they was
Right.
storing all, they ain't had no pipes and stuff, and how they was storing all their waste and everything. This is when you get all them plagues and stuff. So all of this kind of has something to do with this. So family swept across Europe. Say in 1700, monarchs made laws ordering peasants to plant potatoes. 2.5 acres of land planted in potatoes produce over 7.5 million calories, about twice as much as the same area of land planted with wheat. Chronic malnutrition among mothers and infants, a problem that had been consistent for European peasants, was suddenly a dramatical alleviated. Within 200 years after the introduction of the potato, European population tripled. Potatoes became the basis of substance in Ireland, Russia, and in Germany. it say potatoes had added benefits of being less likely to be stolen by passing armies who often took crops from fields or feed their men. Potatoes had to be dug from under the ground, and to work discouraged their pillage. So because of the acres and hours, I mean, no, I'm sorry, because an acre and a half of potato could feed an average family for a year. Less labor was required. As a result, many farmers reset in cities. Some European historians credit the potato for making the industrial revolutionary possible. Okay, so now look, that's why I wanted to pretty much read on that, because I wanted to pretty much touch on this part right here, but I just ain't want to just jump in the middle of potatoes. But like I said, when they talk about the dark ages and all that shit, or the dark ages had to be from around like the 1500s until around like the 1700s. You understand what I'm saying? So it had to be around this time, right? The Dark Ages was not 7, because they try to make you think the Dark Ages was before 7/11. The so-called people that they call the Moors, or the people who you believe to be European Moors, they was always there. Because if Spain wasn't called Spain and we just said it had an Arabic name, that means that it was always that.
That's right.
So you got to really think about it. It was already melanated people in these regions of Portugal, France. The French was black. You understand what I'm saying? All these people in France and all these people in them areas was black. The reason they went through the Dark Ages is because they was warring against them. Because they're different ideologies and things of that nature, and trying to get people to basically convert into them. A lot of these people who was doing this was Mongoloid. I mean, I'm not saying Mongoloids, was mulattoes or mixtures. That's the reason why now you go in France, you see people who look like they Latino, or they look like they Middle Eastern. That's why the difference. Why I be trying to tell people, if you look at a joker like French Montana like motherfucking Puerto Rican or Dominican. You understand? But he's from the Middle East. So why do he look the way he look? Because of the so-called melanin people who mixed with his ancestors.
He from Africa.
He from Morocco, matter of fact. Yeah, he from Morocco. But if you look at where Morocco was at, like I said, Morocco is northwest Africa. You understand what I'm saying? So even when you look at, that's where French Montana from, Morocco. But he looked like a damn Hispanic or Latino. So, like I said, man, a lot of this stuff came, and if it wasn't from the Americas, they would not have been able to fix that problem over there in Europe. Because what they did, and then this, even when you're dealing with European dominance, right? This the reason why coming into the 1900s, you start getting what you getting. Them people didn't go into Africa until like the middle of the 1900s, man. Even though some of them, they was in certain regions or whatever, they didn't get into Africa until they finished what was going on in Europe. Because if Europe was in the Dark Ages and they trying to travel and all that, that's the reason why you don't see King Leopold and the De Beers and all these people going into the Congo until what? The early 1900s, like the late 1800s. So why haven't they been going there? If they've been over there and they was moving slaves and they was doing all this, why haven't they been going over? They've been looking for resources. If they came to the Americas to dig gold and have silver mines and platinum mines and all this other stuff over here, meaning that they knew about it and knew how to do that. So why wouldn't they went straight over there and done it if all of the precious metals was over there?
That's right.
They ain't even telling you that it originated over. They ain't say, well, we went to Africa first and made them mine and then went to Americas and did it. No, we went straight to the Americas, did it there. That's it. So, I mean, like I said, let's keep it moving, man. Let's keep it moving because it's getting kind of long.
But before we move to the next one, you realize they said that we made over 3,000 different types of potato.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Because you know what? Have you ever seen a purple potato?
Yes.
Yeah, I seen red, orange ones, and purple. As a matter of fact, I just made some stew Using all them damn potatoes. I ain't lying.
Bro,
Yeah,
listen,
red,
I take
purple.
them, I take the purple potatoes, right? I take them, I'll either like toss them around with some rosemary thyme. I chop some rosemary thyme, salt and pepper, throw a little olive oil in there, toss that shit around and bake them. You know what I'm saying? I'll bake them. And then what I do is I'll fry them after that. You know what I'm saying? And they go, I mean, like I said, they be banging the Peruvian purple potatoes, the fingerling. They call it like fingerling potatoes, man. And like you said, they made over 300 types of potatoes, even like dealing
3,000.
with, or 3,000. My
Yeah,
bad.
they saying
3,000 types of
3,000.
potatoes.
But
Three.
now, at the last little paragraph, it say today about 250 varieties of potatoes are grown
Mm-hmm.
in the U.S. But that's just in the United States. It's saying so. Who knows? According to Central America, South America, it say with 20 of these varieties constituting 3/4 of the total harvest, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The 1995 potato crop totaled 25 million tons.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying, man. It's a lot of stuff in here that you got to really touch back and think back to what we was told in history
Right.
about certain things. That's why I like when we do these videos. You know, they're not giving credit to nobody but the people who over here. It's just the only sad thing about that is most of these people they giving credit to are not the people who was there who created these cultures. You know, so that's something. But as you see, pottery is very long. They try to tell you that pottery, oh, you know, Africans was making pottery. So why are they not telling us why these people, I'm quite sure they want to keep the lie up too. So why they not even saying, well, you know, Africans brought pottery over to the Americas you know, in the early 1500 BC or something like that? Because they didn't. They ain't got no signs of none of them coming. The only people who want to believe that is people who believe in motherfucking people like Marcus Garvey and these pro Pan African jokers, man. You understand what I'm saying? They're the only people who want to believe that. Oh, the Africans was the first people making pottery or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So why are they not saying, well, the Africans made pottery first, or any of these other inventions that the Africans supposed to be responsible? I'm going to get to the pyramid, so I'm not. We're gonna keep it moving till we get to the pyramid. But look, you
But
got
you know what?
Patrick.
Oh, my bad. Oh, my bad.
No, go ahead, go
I
ahead, go
was
ahead. You good?
gonna
You
say,
good?
if you think about it, now these people, okay, they said they let the peasants plant the potatoes. They probably just tried to keep planting and planting and planting the things. After like 5 to 7 years, you're supposed to, give your soil a rest. And that's probably
Mm-hmm.
where all them famines came from. You trying to be all greedy and shit. Don't know how to
And, it,
maintain land.
and you
They
know
were
what that.
they were starving, bro.
But think of it like this too, right? Think of it like this, right? When they start talking about the famines, right? Think of it like this, right? Most of the famines come from mineral deficiencies. So certain minerals is what helps your immune system stay strong like it is. You understand what I'm saying? And the certain minerals are produced in the soil in which the food come out. So when you start talking about, oh, they keep growing stuff, they depleting the soil from its minerals. So that's pretty much what we're talking about. And because of you depleting the soil out of its minerals, therefore, when you know what I'm saying, therefore, when you do eat, you're not getting nourished. Your body really want nutrient. What is micronutrient? Micronutrients will be considered what we call trace minerals, your magnesium, your selenium, your vitamin C's, E's, all of this stuff. Them are all macronutrients. We only eat the food because of the macronutrients that's inside the food that we need to keep our body going. When we say a time, meaning that we have the same thing that flows through our body flows through this soil. One inhabit from the land, one that came up from the land that he inhabits. Okay, so that means that your body has the same minerals that this land has in it, and for us to stay healthy like we need the stuff that's inside the dirt, but most of the soil is depleted. It's the reason why your grandmother and them was living to be so old, because they was walking in this soil. This soil will pull all the negative ions out your body and keep your body running at top performance, even if you is smoking a pipe. Most of the people you see, most of these old men or older guys, you see them in a rocking chair somewhere with their feet in the damn dirt. If you look at it, you look at it in a rocking chair in the backyard with their feet in the dirt, bro. Cannot make this shit up. Still able to get up, dance, and fucking and do the Brooklyn slide or whatever, the Harlem Shake or whatever. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these old guys, you still see them moving. Older people, you still see them. You know what I'm saying? Because of the soil, you get calcium from the soil. You know, all of these minerals that you need for your body to be productive, you get from the soil. You know what I'm saying? So, I just wanted to bit pretty much go on that. Do anybody want to touch on prescriptions?
Yeah, I think we know what they at 1000 BC South American, basically saying we was prescribing and diagnosing people's illnesses and stuff like that. At
And giving them treatment for it. You know what I'm saying? Roughly about 3,000 years ago.
right.
Man, brain surgery. You see brain surgery right here, snake bites, arthritis. Um, you see aromatherapy. You see all this. You see headache medicine, dentistry, tartar removal. You see a lot of different things that they was giving prescriptions for, because they was already dealing with herbs. They already knew what herbs heal certain things and what herbs that certain people shouldn't take, as far as if you was pregnant. If a woman was pregnant, she can't
Right.
eat certain herbs, because
It's
certain
because
herbs.
we took the time out to put the plants in order and then categorize it so people can have a blueprint to go off of today.
Look, you got public health, right? You got public drunkenness laws, right? Let me see something real quick. Public health, public drunkenness law. All right, it say, although the Aztec who established the empire in what is now Mexico about 1100 AD fermented and alcohol beverage called plaque. It say from the agave plant. You know what that is, right? That's tequila. Look,
That's right.
that's what
Patron.
tequila come from. Yeah, it come from the agave plant. Also, the agave. Agave is a sweetener that people use that don't make your glycemic index shoot up. Meaning that people who diabetic can drink agave,
Yeah.
because it doesn't have glucose, and it has fructose. Fructose does not mess with your glycemic levels, which it will make your body which will make your pancreas secrete insulin. So a lot of people who diabetic, if you listening, if you don't know about this, use agave, put agave in your sugar, inside your coffee, and it
Right.
won't make your shoot your glycemic index up in the morning time. But they say they had very strict laws regulating its use. The Aztec world, alcohol consumption for most people was limited to feast and holiday. The exception to this was the elderly, who could drink anytime by virtue of their age. When intoxication priests and nobles were caught, they were severely punished. Such were expected to be role models from others in society. In many cases, they were put to death. Whoa. Damn, we know what alcohol does. He said in many cases they was put to death. Let me read a little bit more of this. Alcohol was prohibited to the young and the commoners, say, who were found intoxicated, were punished by having their heads shaved if they were caught again. They could be put to death as well. Aztec who had alcoholic drink, it's called Ockley. It say in his book Daily Life of the Aztecs of the Eve of Spanish Conquest, Arthur Jacques Sucelli cites a speech given by Aztec noble who called the drink the root. And the original, the origins of the evil of all prediction. Okay, it say, and drunkenness are the cause of all of the discard and dissensions of all revolts and all troubles in cities and realms. So they knew that shit back then. Now check this out. Check this out real quick. Check this
Mm-mm.
out. It say it is like a whirlwind that destroys a town, breaking down everything. It is like a magnet storm that brings all evil within. Before adultery, rapes, debauching of girls, incest, theft, crimes causing, bearing false witness, whatever, rioting, brawling. It said there is drunkenness. All things, no, all those things called by drunkenness. It say the ancient American Indian or Aborigines recognized and knew the dangers. Check this shit out. Let me go ahead. Let me read this. I'm gonna touch on something too. Say knew the dangers of alcohol, but were able to control it by establishing very strict regulations for its use. Now check this out real quick, right? It's a drink in here. They call it the root, right? Now they call it the root. They say the root of the origins of evil. Okay, it was this drink we used to get in New York, right? And what they used to make, they used to put a snake in a bottle. Motherfucker put a snake in a bottle, say don't open it to Christmas, right? It was called the root. And I'm telling you, one sip of that will have you out of it, bro. I'm telling you, like I didn't listen. In my days, I didn't drunk it all. I'm talking about white liquor, dark liquor. I done drunk all types of different Hennessy's. The XO Hennessy. They got another they got 5 Hennessy's, I believe. And it'd be way more than that. It might be way
Right.
more than that.
You got black Hennessy, you got the XO, you got white Hennessy, and you got pure white Hennessy.
Bro, that listen, look, AP. That ain't even the Hennessy. They got Hennessy's that they got one Hennessy like XO Hennessy cost 100. They got another Hennessy for 1,000. They got another one for 5,000. They have a
Mhm.
Hennessy that costs $100,000. You understand? But what I'm saying is because it ain't nothing but how long they let the cognac age. They let them age in these so-called what they call them, like these so-called drums, but they
Yeah,
they made out of certain wood, like you got the hickory wood. They made out of certain wood, and because they let them sit in these so-called wooden
barrel.
drum barrels so long, but also what they got to do is strain them at a certain time or whatever. But nonetheless, though, like I said, I drunk all types of shit, but this root drink we used to get when I was young. We used to go to New York, get it from like a smoke shop or one of these little like one of them Caribbean spots. Man, yo, will have you out of it. But obviously, the ancestors knew what alcohol pretty much did, and what all came with anyone who was indulging in alcohol. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, we must have gave that to the Europeans, and somehow they gave it back to us. You know what I'm saying? So you got pulse, radiation.
To us after they got rid of our laws and our rules.
See, see, see how that work? You got pulleys. Pulleys is something that's interesting that needs, you know what I'm saying? Like most people know pulleys. You use pulleys to lift things that's heavy. Like they use it like if you see them pulling a shark out the water, them using pulleys back in the 1900s, or any like a well or anything like that, they was using pulleys or whatever. So they saying how far the pulley system go pre-contact. Pumpkins, we already know about pumpkins. You know what? Let me see something real quick. Um, yeah, pretty much pumpkins is a North American. And let me ask y'all a question, right? I know y'all eat pumpkin seeds down south, right?
Yeah, some people do. I don't care for
You
pumpkin.
don't care for them now because we coming up, we a little younger now, but before, remember how, like I said, used to eat the roasted peanuts. You know what I'm saying? The roasted peanuts with the honey on it. or whatever. My father always used to get that, as well as like pumpkin seeds. He always used to eat pumpkin seeds or
Yeah, that's
whatever.
how we do down here. We still do that with the kids. You know what I'm saying? When they clean out the pumpkin for Halloween or whatnot, wash them off, throw them in the oven with some butter or some olive oil, put some salt on them, bake them for about 20 minutes. They good to go.
There you have it. See, and this ain't nothing no European boy. The Europeans ain't teach us how to do that. And if the food ain't in Africa, then how did we learn how to do this? You ain't have no freedom to create shit like that unless you was someone with some type of thing or something, or you know what I'm saying. You ain't had no freedom to create shit, so the Europeans didn't know how to do this. So
But
who taught you how to do this?
pumpkins been cultivated roughly about 10,000 years ago. So that's something that's
Right,
something that brought to attention. 10,000 years ago, they argued that people weren't even in America, especially North America.
right,
Let's say eight. Listen, this say this say 8,000 BC. So 8,000 BC plus 2018. You're right. That's 10,000 years ago. Okay. So, and they saying right here in North America, if you read it, it says American Indians in both Mesoamerica and North America dependently domesticated pumpkins. Indian farmers in North America grew them for thousands of years before the arrival of Europeans and the first Thanksgiving. The roasted boiled pumpkins served them as vegetables as they did with squash. It say seeds, American Indians roasted and ate pumpkin seeds. These are called empatas. Mesoamerican, North American today. English colonists quickly incorporated pumpkins into their diet. Historians believe that it was possible a dish resembling pumpkin pudding rather than pumpkin pie that may have been served at the first feast that was immortalized in the first Thanksgiving. Colonial women, North American made pumpkin pie. No, they didn't. They made pumpkin pie because they seen us making pumpkin pie. They try to take that shit and give it to them. Say, oh well, we were making pumpkin pies and nah. We was already doing that. We was already doing that too, B. You can't get that. Y'all motherfuckers barely. Y'all niggas was fucking eating your nails. Y'all ain't had
Right,
no food when you came on. You was biting your nails for dinner and shit. You had a box of nails and shit to eat. Here
right.
go your shit right here, pyramids, man.
Let's go. Here we go. Pyramids. 3000 BCE, which is about 5,000 years ago. North America, South America, and Mesoamerican culture. So what it's telling you is where can you find pyramids throughout the America? North America, South America, and Mesoamerica. So let's get into it. Pyramids are massive structures that are that are broad at the bottom and tapered at the top to a point or a apex at the top. The American Indian and Mesoamerican and South American built pyramids of adobe and stone. So let's go on down. I know y'all see the image of this pyramid right here. That pyramid is called the Magician Pyramid, built by the Mayan in the late classic period in the Yucatan Peninsula. It's 100 feet tall. It was built in 5 stages. One stacked on top of the other. The stairway of the pyramid faces the setting sun at the summer solar. Excuse me. So the steps that you see on that left side is facing where the sun would hit during the summer solstice. Okay, let's go on down and read a little more. And that, okay, let's get it. Pyramids. Some of the pyramids built in America were equal in size to the Egyptian pyramids. Listen, this is critical. Y'all heard this? This is very critical information. Some of the pyramids built in the Americas, not just one, some of the pyramids were equal to the size of the Egyptian pyramids. The first American pyramid builders were the indigenous inhabitants of what is now Peru. For those who think that Egypt was the first people to build pyramids, let's go. Was built in Peru and began building their first pyramid out of adobe about 3000 BC. Two of the first of the were the El Espero, located in central coastal areas in present day Peru. And the other one is in Corral, 120 miles north of what is Lima. The settlement covered 33 acres and had three traces underground, storage niches, and residential areas as well. As a ritual center, South American pyramid builders began constructing those structures several hundred years before the pyramids in Egypt. Come on, y'all. Jabari, stop reading that encyclopedia, bro. I gave you a book to read. Garfield, stop lying. You little leprechaun. Okay, let's go. The Egyptians built their first pyramid at Saqqara between 28 to 8600 BCE and 2613, and the construction of the famous Giza pyramid between 2589 and 2504. So we definitely predates those by hundreds of years in construction. So by the time we was constructing it, they wasn't even thinking of it. Okay, is that clear? In about 1800 BCE, the South American ceremony centers and pyramids took on the different look. Ancient engineer architects started building them in a U shape. Okay, so now we switched up the design, we upgraded it. You see what I'm saying? A U shape gives you better visual to the outlook of your town. That's common sense. Give you almost a 360-degree view of what's going on. Okay, that face the plaza. Let's see where I'm at. Let me zoom in a little bit. All right. The archaeologist written in the Professor Brian M. Fagan was written of those uh of that these the South American pyramids, excuse me, rank among the most ambitious of the public works undertook by the prehistoric Americans. The Hookah del Sol, built by the Mocha, is unknown as its largest adobe structure in the pre-contact America. Did y'all read that? Did y'all catch that? The Hookah del Sol, built by the Mocha, is known as the largest adobe structure in the pre-contact America. The Mocha culture arose in what is now Peru roughly about 200 BC,
That's the
which
pyramid
means
of the sun too. They talking about the pyramid of the sun in Mexico. That's the one they talk about. That big
yeah,
one.
yeah, that's what they talking about. Uh, and where was I at? I'm sorry.
My
That
bad.
was built about 200 BC, which means the square structure is the term of the pyramids in Peru. The base of the Hoca del Sol pyramid is 1,132 feet by 520 feet long and is 98 feet tall. Archaeologists estimate about 104 million adobe brick was molded and arranged in columns to order the construction, it making it the largest adobe structure in America. The Hoca del Sol is paired with a smaller pyramid. Together they serve as a ritual administrative center. So that's like the brother Jaguar just said, the pyramid of the sun, and then he said later paired with a smaller one, which you would call today the pyramid of the moon. Uh, let's get into it. Although early pre-Peruvian cultures mummified their dead and also used embalming fluid, they buried them in caves rather than the pyramids. Okay, because we this was education. This is where you come to learn. You see what I'm saying? That's the difference between our structures and the way they built their structures in Kemet. Okay, they use them for dead. We use them for living and teaching. Okay, let's get to it. In Mesoamerica, the Olmec began building pyramids between 2000 and 1500 BCE. The pyramids they built at the La Ventra was one of the tallest ones, and the culture proceeds stood 112 feet high. Olmec engineers construct these pyramids in a unique way. They built rooms on each level or tier and then filled them in with rock, said the I mean sand and gravel. When all the rooms were filled, they built another level, filled it, and repaired the process until the pyramid was complete. So we can even tell you how these pyramids was done step by step and can implement it. They cannot do that to any of the pyramids in Africa. It's a mystery. I have no clue. They don't know. They can't reconstruct it. They don't even know what the hell, how the hell to really get in. They don't even know what they was used for. So let's continue reading. All right, where was I at? All right, then repeated. The ancient engineers built the outer surface called the facing of the pyramid. These facings were often made of basalt or granite. Okay, very very hard rock. The Olmec, like the Egyptians, built sandstone coffins and inferred their dead royalty within the pyramid. So later on, you started seeing this done where at the bottom of the pyramids, where nobody could get to, you had a different chamber, a crawl space. This is where they stored their dead, along with teaching some of the teachings that they dead left behind. So this is when you started seeing this implemented with burying the dead. First implemented here in America, mind you. Let's get to it. The Mayan built the largest pyramid in Mesoamerica. Mayan culture arose in what is now the. Oh, okay, I just read that. I apologize. All right, we done with that. But yeah, for further reading,
Well, you got well, they got the mound right there. I don't know if you want to read that last little paragraph about the
where's that at? I don't see it, man. I done got twisted somehow.
okay. Well, I get it. It says in pre-contact North America around AD 1000, the Mississippian culture built a city called Cahokia
Mm.
today near the confluence of the Mississippi and Illinois River. When this culture was at its height, more than 30,000 people lived in Cahokia. The largest structure in the complex was Monk's Mound, standing 100 feet high. Although Monk's Mound was small in comparison to many South American and Mesoamerican pyramids, it was the largest structure in North America during prehistoric times. The builders of Cahokia also built 68 smaller mounds in their city. Southeastern people built earthen pyramids throughout the southeast, including locations in what are now Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. The mound builders also built smaller constructions as far north as what are now Minnesota and Michigan. Most of the mounds were used for burials. There you have it with the burials.
Damn, see, look, this right here, we ain't really gotta even address SETI, man. We can just read from the encyclopedia and just deal with him like this.
Yeah, you
We
chop
ain't
them
gotta,
up.
we ain't gotta even address SETI directly and make a video to where we going back at SETI. Nah, this right here tell you. This
Right.
right here. But hold up, real quick.
And I just want to say while you're doing that, and definitely in the Carolinas, man, we got South Carolina been doing South Carolina University been excavating mounds all throughout Columbia and the south of South Carolina, and here right here where I'm at in the upstate, right here central, man. I mean, all you see is mounds. They done built churches on mounds, they done built schools on mounds. They got of course, some of the graveyards. Uh we got they done planted peach trees and all type of fruit trees on mounds. Like it's real out here, man. So shout out to everybody, man. Straight
Let's
up.
touch on some of these sources, man. Just get them sources out. So they can have something, you know what I'm saying, to know that we ain't just create this and nothing. It's to say sources and further reading. At the top you got Michael Cole. Now Michael Cole is
Okay.
actually the Joker who was basically saying he has a book, America's First Civilization, okay, discovering the Olmec. All right, now he also got some other books, so you check out Michael Cole as a good source. As far as most of the things that was found, like the relics and the things in antiquity that was found here. You also got they say the Americas before Columbus, okay. You got America before Columbus. You got the Olmec advanced material, Olmec civilization, and also you got Chuchilla. See, Cholula. My bad, Cholula. That's Mexican history, classic period. You got the special publication division at the National Geographic Society. Then you got the University of Oklahoma Press, Mayan history and religion, and these are all credible sources right here. Now, I wouldn't think that these people would be putting the dates of what we found in Egypt, because look, they put it right here. They're right here. It's a 700 years before the pyramid. Now, listen, I read this from a basic source, and it was telling you this shit. Why the fuck until? Because I'm gonna tell you like this. My whole time doing this history, or me knowing anything about Kemet, or knowing anything about this shit, I was under the impression that the pyramid started in Egypt. Okay. That's the impression. That's what I was under the impression. Okay. So by SETI telling us that the only reason we got pyramids here is because the Olmec came here and taught us how to make it. And that's the reason we got pyramids in. But SETI, listen to this, SETI. They're telling you the pyramids here are older than Egypt. Okay. They're telling you the pyramids here are older than Egypt. Okay. Look, listen to it. South American pyramid builders began constructing these structures several hundred years before the pyramids in Egypt. Okay, it says archaeologists believe the Egyptians built the first pyramid at Saqqara between 2886 and 2613 BC, and constructed the famous Giza pyramid between 2589. Now look, it's saying 2589. Remember, it goes down. If they're telling you that we built, it's a Peru who began building their first pyramid though in 3000 BC. So you go from 3000 down to 2589. It don't go the other way, it go the other way. So it goes down. So obviously, if they begin building a pyramid in Peru in 3000, and they saying that they say constructed the famous Giza pyramid between 2589. That's almost, I believe, 411 years before the pyramid in Giza was constructed. Okay, 411 years before the pyramid in Giza was constructed. Okay. So now you got this guy running around. Oh, we taught them all that. We just read plumbing. We just read all these precious metals. We read prescription. We read pyramids. We read all this stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? And all this stuff that none of them, they not giving no type of glory to Africa. Okay, they're not giving no type of glory to Africa because they already knew that it was more Negroes here. It was Negroes throughout the Americas. Okay, this is the reason why we can read out of an encyclopedia that has sources right here that's telling you. That's a bold statement. That's bold. That's bold, because now what we got to understand is this. Okay, so the pyramids in Peru was built before the pyramids in Egypt. Okay, so are you saying that Mongoloids, or the people who that's in Peru now, built them pyramids before the so-called fucking black god? That's what you telling me? Because either that's what you're going to agree to, or you're going to say nah, they was black. Nah, the Peruvians was black. So you're going to have to allude to that, because once you show this on a Summer Jam screen at a lecture. Once you show this at a Summer Jam screen, at a lecture, the people who you reading this to is going to have to, they're going to have to adapt quick. They're going to have to say, well, damn, hold up. Why would somebody be saying that the pyramids in Peru are older than the pyramids? Why would anybody even be saying that?
Right.
We ain't even supposed to be having this in the conversation. It ain't supposed to be, no, you know what I'm saying? They ain't even supposed to be parallel. You understand? They ain't supposed to be parallel. Ain't supposed to be the pyramids in Egypt was built at the same time the pyramids in Peru, because you telling us that the Americas is a new world. So if the Americas is the new world, then why you have pyramids here is old as now? This is all of these dynasties that these clowns, old dynasty from the 13th and 14th, and all these other dynasties or whatever. They're telling you that the first pyramid in Egypt was constructed around 4,800 years ago, but they're telling you that the first pyramid here in North America was constructed 5,000 years ago. And like I said, it might not mean nothing to anybody. You might just go and okay, that's nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We can move on from there. But this is heavyweight, bro.
that's right.
This is heavyweight. This because now, like I said, you have to wrap your brain around. Like, hold up, man. So that means that them Mongoloids was more advanced than we were. So that means we got it. So that means you, instead of you running around here yelling about Kemet, you supposed to be running around here yelling about these pyramids that was built here first. Where did they get the idea from? And why is it, like I said, why are they parallel? Where did they get the idea from? Obviously, if you was building them here first, and these niggas don't even acknowledge them as pyramids. They're so, oh man, look at this pyramid. Bro, these niggas ain't did no research. Like, really?
Right. Why the hell would a group of people have pyramids in the new world that's older than any pyramid in the old world? It don't make sense.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That right there is a head scratcher. That right there gonna make you really go back
Yeah.
and check yourself on any. Like I said, man. Look, check this out. You ain't gonna head this nowhere else because you have to ask yourself this question. Aborigines and people in the chat room, okay? I already showed you that they enslaved 6 million so-called Aborigines here. Already showed you that they so-called brought less than 380,000 so-called Africans here. But the mistake about it all is that they took these same people to the West Indies, but they also tell you that they was taking people from here to the West Indies. So now you got to start observing and understanding. Well, damn, well, the Spanish only had the West Indies until the middle of the 1600s, and then from there the English took it over. So why would the English need to go back and forth to Africa, considering where Africa is at? All this shit is a damn lie. It's all a fucking lie. Only thing they was doing was transporting people from the West Indies and the Caribbean to the Americas. They was not bringing no fucking Africans here. And I'm tired of people saying that. I'm tired of people saying that. They did not have no time to keep traveling over there when you got your own Negro problem here. It's not gonna keep bringing people here or keep no. So you have to look at it from a different perspective, man. You understand? You have to look at it, bro. You have to look at this shit from a different perspective. It would make more sense that a lot of people you see in France, we could look at that two different ways. The black people you see over in France, either I'm gonna say they probably took some Africans because the France was in Africa, but I doubt that too, because these travels to take these people to all these places is very far. Now, but understand, I'm gonna also be wise and understand this too, right? Manpower is probably the most important thing of all. You need manpower is more important than anything, because if you ain't got a distributor or like a computer, or you have a mass media or like a mass marketing scheme to, you know what I'm saying, to do something, you need manpower to move it. For anything dealing with like inventions or agriculture or any primitive way of living, you need manpower to move it. So we know that there was always people who was oppressed, but most of these people was oppressed was the people by the conquering people. You always hear stories about how people conquered a certain land and the people they conquered became their pawns. You rarely hear stories about how people conquered land and then went to another land to bring more people to that land. You don't really hear them stories too much. Most of the stories we hear, oh well, the people that was in this land, they was conquered and they eventually had their history changed and their name was changed. And this is what will happen to us. It's what happened to us. It's what happened to us. That's what happened to us. That's why I tell you I ain't gonna tell you no 90%, because that's what we was thinking at first. 100% of so-called Black Americans, Negroes, colored people, whatever you want to call them, people who was here before the immigrants came here in the 1900s, they're all Indians. All of them. All of them is Indians. All of them are Indians. And now remember, in all of these different ways we look at it, there's a lot of different factors that play to a person not even knowing that they are Indian. You know what I'm saying? You first of all, from what we've been taught through this fucking television and through propaganda from Roots, which was the main and the most important propaganda of this century, that basically put all of us under mind control and thought that people came from Africa. Until you really understand the history and look at the history directly, you'll see that they deceiving us, and it's a lot of deception with this literature and even with the things you're reading. That's why you have to come to places, read, check this so-called American Indian Encyclopedia out. You have to check this out, because this right here is telling you, if all these things came from Africa, then why are they not giving Africa credit? Because if you would think that, well, okay, well, they're not even saying that Africa had the same identical systems as we had here, because they're not even comparing them with them. I could compare when we talk about slam dunkers, right? So Dominique didn't invent the slam dunk, but when you know when he's mentioned, you're going to mention him with the other great slam dunkers.
Right.
So why they not mentioning the other great people who created plumbing? Now they created they introduced some of the pyramids, but we know there's more pyramids than just the ones in Egypt. They ain't talking about the pyramids in Sudan. They ain't talking about the pyramids that's in Romania and all them other places as well. Now, like I just said, how we started this off, North Africa, there's no Africa, but the people who we think is North Africa ain't nothing but Europeans. They're nothing but Black Europeans. When they tell you about, oh, the Moors are North African, that's another word for so-called melanated Europeans, or the melanated people who live in that region where we know Europe. We've been told so long that white people was in Europe, but like I just read to you, the Dark Ages had to be from the 1500s until the 1700s. So when they kicked the original inhabitants and they started enslaving them, the people, the original inhabitants of the land, they lost a lot of technology. That's like if you the only person in the house that you only got one person who know how to work a computer, and you shoot that motherfucker. Now you don't know nothing about the computer. You don't know nothing about the shit. But the only person who knew how to use the computer, or that's for anything, the only person who knew how to farm, or the only person who knew how to bring this particular, let's say if you like a certain wine from a certain liquor store or a certain region of the world, and this one person brought that wine to you, you don't know how to go over it. So these people fell short on a lot of the so-called technology advances that the people had that was living in that region to begin with. And people never came nowhere from 711 AD. I'm believing that the story is lying. I'm believing that 711 AD, they brought the Europeans there. That's what I'm starting to think. I'm starting to think that when they start talking about 7-Eleven, that's when they brought the Europeans there. You understand? But even though what we was talking about earlier, Jack, when I was telling you about the timeline, that I'm starting to, I don't really get caught up with the timeline, because I can't prove to anybody that this world is 1,000,000 years old more than I can prove that it's 6,000 years old. So when you start seeing a lot of these dates, and you start seeing that, well, look, they numbering, they putting these structures at around like 4 to 5, 6, maybe the most we might see is around 7,000 years ago. Okay, now the most, I'm gonna say the most I was saying was about 6,000 years. Even though we got some people that say these pyramids in Kemet is 70,250 years, but they can't prove it. They can't prove that. So you got to go with what's listed everywhere we go, no matter what institution or what academia institution we look in. You're going to see that the pyramids that the pyramids are dated around no later in Egypt as 4800 BC. No, I mean not 4800 BC,
Like,
2800
yeah,
BC, or
yeah,
around that time. Okay, so that's in any academia. If you go to any of these, you go to motherfucking Cornell, you go to Cornell, Brown University, you go to any of these Ivy Leagues, any of these Oxford University, they're gonna tell you that the pyramids are all the same date. They ain't gonna give you no, well, they might be older. Some of them might give you hint to that, but they don't have no way to prove it. So they go with the same dating system. Now, my thing is this: half these Pan-Africans and half these people who go over there, Asrock Crazy ain't no archaeologist. He just a motherfucker who been going over there with Dr. Ben long enough to be able to, what Dr. Ben told him that shit means. That's not what that means. No one has ever deciphered the meta. Cause how you gonna read symbols? So you know what that symbol meant? Is the person who wrote that symbol down here to tell you what it meant? Well, other than that, everything else is speculation. Because you can't prove to me that a motherfucking bird next to a foot means this. You can't prove that.
that's right.
How you gonna prove that to me? So how do you know that? Oh, because this is what it. No, where's you getting that from? And that's what I'm saying. All of this whole Pan-African shit is all pseudo, because they forget to tell you that the pyramids here are older than the pyramids over there.
Yeah.
That's so them niggas is pseudo. They all pseudo. That whole lecture that SETI put out there, and SETI said that, oh well, we bought we bought building and metal and all that stuff to the Americas. And we was doing it first, SETI. Everything, all of the stuff, and even you find chariots here. You
That's right.
find chariots and you find a wheel here too. So don't give me that it came from only people who put in that. See, what people do is they got to insert that for you to understand, for you to think that. They got to insert that. They didn't insert nothing about Africa and none of this stuff we've been reading until we get to the pyramids, because they know that the pyramids, most people equate the pyramids in Africa to be the oldest. So that's why they basically cleared it up and told you, no, the pyramids in Peru are older than the pyramids over there.
That's right. Clear as day.
So
And hey,
they can get sued for this though. If they lying, so this is an encyclopedia. Okay, encyclopedia. Okay, remember when you grew up, when you was young? For most of us, when I was coming up, if you're not, I don't know how old people is. I'm 43, but when I was coming up, my mother and them bought us a library, a encyclopedia from A to Z, with everything in it. You know what I'm saying? This is what people was really getting their information from before there was any Google or anything else like that. Far as anything historical or anything of inventions or anything of any prominence, you was getting in them encyclopedias. Go to the index, look for the word, go find it, and then you begin doing your research there. So this is how the first people we started doing research way before people started Googling anything, way before people started doing any of this other stuff. We start looking, start doing it in that. We start doing it in that form. But like I said, man, when you put down claims like this and say that the pyramids in Peru are older than the pyramids in Egypt, that will make anybody raise a brow. But guess what, though? You hearing this shit, you heard this shit here first. Okay? You heard this shit here first. As opposed whether you might have heard the brother AP say it, you might have heard me say it, or you might have heard Jack say it. Nonetheless, you heard this shit here first. And this is in 2017. And I believe, well, I don't know 2000. No, I don't think I made that video about the first time that I made one in 2000. I believe it was like early 2018. But it doesn't matter, because I've been listening to this shit. I've been conscious for over 12, 13 years, and I have never heard anybody nobody say that the pyramids in America are older than the pyramids in Egypt. Matter of fact, they don't even try to tell you that it's pyramids over here. They tell you that's only mounds.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? They tell you, and when they try to tell you about Cahokia and the Mississippians, said he was trying to say, well, look how these look. These aren't monumental structures compared to what the pyramids is. But guess what, SETI? Your yellow ass think you are from West Africa, okay? So how are
Nigga.
you going all the way across the damn country to you claiming the only historical or the only so-called the only great creation that we know that the Africas is known for. And that's what most people, when we talk about in Africa, where do most people go? They go to the pyramids. And depending on who you getting it from, they even playing you on that by telling you the people who built them pyramids over there didn't look like you neither. The same way that the pyramids over here, these people saying that these people didn't look like you neither. But when you go inside of them, and you go to the Boma Park murals, you go to the Mendoza Codex, you go to all these codex, you find Negroes. You don't find people who look like none of these people who are here. So, like I said, man, listen, donate, Culture Freedom, Hidden Cultures of America. My PayPal address or my PayPal information is in the description. Go to the t-shirt spring, cop yourself a t-shirt, represent who you are. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I said, that's the least you can do for the brothers. This is a real prominent, a real heavyweight bill. Every time we do it, we don't get the views that we ask for. And like I said, it's not even about the views as an individual standpoint. It's for the views so people would fucking understand and notice and notice history right here. That's what it's for. You understand what I'm saying? It's right here. Video like this should get like 100,000 views, man.
That's right.
But it's only gonna get 1,000, 1,100. And that's why I stopped doing these for a minute, because I felt like, yo, people don't appreciate this. Is real. This is real. We sitting here breaking this shit down to people. People don't even know that American Indian encyclopedia even exists. You know what I'm saying? And we sitting here breaking it down, going through the pivot points of it, giving you our commentary on it. We trying to read it the best as possible, trying to get through it, trying to explain it, trying to format it. But you know, it's like the views is not there when we do these. And I learned the most. I learned a lot just by reading all the way to P on this.
That's right.
So definitely, man, hit the like button. Like I said, man, this ain't nobody selling information. No one, you know, and no one is asking anybody to do anything, but just do the right thing at the end of the day. Support who supports you. When it come down to this information, ain't nobody talking about this stuff. You're not going to you gonna find all these people who gonna sit here and argue you down, but yet we're gonna go to the Summer Jam scream and they're gonna tell you, and no matter what site we go to, they're gonna tell you that the pyramids in Egypt, and they're gonna tell you the date. Right. You understand what I'm saying? So either whether we get it from encyclopedia, whether we get it from Ruth Shady, whether we get it from the numerous other archaeologists that's telling you pretty much the same thing, or whether you get it from a Timeless One, AP, and Jaguar, you still getting some good, credible information. This is your history. Remember, they trying to tell you that we came from Africa. Where we came from in West Africa, there ain't shit there. Nothing. There's nothing there. Nothing. There's nothing. I'm not one of them. And you can sit there and say, oh, them people, they ain't create nothing great. Because all the shit that's great was created over here. And you running over there. So for everything that they created great over there, we got 5 or 6 things that was created great that's over here that people ain't even telling you about. Original prescriptions, bro. Medicine. We took irrigation systems.
Like pills.
Pills, motherfucker. How many people out there on pills? Now, all of these things is technology advances that we've been doing. We've been doing all this. So why are they not saying that this technology came from Kemet? And they throwing you up in there. Northeast, Southeast, culture, North America.
Because it ain't got shit to do with them. That's just simple.
Listen, like I said, man, support your boy, Coach of Freedom, hitting Coach of America. This month, I'm finishing off on the people, as far as the ones that I'm interviewing. I was trying to get another 100 because I wanted to throw some extra commentary up in it. So I'm gonna probably interview like 100 more people within the next month and a half. And after that, I'm done with that. I just need to go interview the 6 people. As far as, like I said, it was a hold up as far as me trying to get down to North Carolina last month. And one of the people that I was interviewing down there, he had actually had a family emergency, so I had to back up out of it because I got 4 people that I'm interviewing in North Carolina alone. And I'm not trying to keep going back and forth down. I'm trying to go down there and make that a 2-day process where I can interview the people for at least, I mean, some of them I'm going to come back down there and check out. But for the most part, I just want to get down there, introduce myself, tell them what's going on. We sit down and get the interview on. And then I record what I'm recording. And then I'm going to keep it moving on to the next one. And that's it, man. And then come back, put it, edit it or whatever, and start getting the format. Find me some nice music or something. Probably a different couple different soundtrack, couple different beats that's gonna pretty much go with it or whatever. And like I said, I'm ready. I'm ready for it. So I hope you guys are ready. Support your boy Atanchinus One, Coach of Freedom, hitting Coaches of America, documentation of Black Indians. Like I said, you hit me PayPal. My Cash App, or you can go cop yourself some Aboriginal apparel. This has been the American Indian Encyclopedia, 15,000 years of invention and innovations. And like you said, we just finished with pyramids, man, which is still leaving people brain smoking right now. You know what I'm
And we
saying? I
got
know.
we got so much more to go through. Like I said, we probably about 1/4 of the way through the book. Like I said, we in the P's. Y'all can do the rest of the estimate. We going all the way to Z, and we just now touched critical information. We ain't touched on the number zero in mathematics. We it's just so much we haven't touched on yet. So
That's right. And like I said, these are heavyweight bills, man. Ain't nobody doing this, man. Everybody got their own little thing of how they do their research. You got some people pretty much talk about some things that other people talk about. I try my best to bring to you guys something different and something solid. And something I'm gonna say original, every time. I might touch on some of my older points or some of the other points that I derived some of my knowledge from. But at the end of the day, man, I try to bring you something different, something new, you know, just something that you can really get some information from and we can build from it, and like I said, man, it's been a lot last 3 years putting videos up, from just really not doing heavy research to really going in heavy with the research. And like I said, I got so much other research that I want to pull up and show you. I got an amalgamation video about how a lot of the chiefs became like how the Europeans. Because, like I said, even when you're dealing with these chiefs, right, you start seeing in the early, like 1900s, that they starting to give a lot of these white people chiefs. And this is pretty much how they sold us out. That's how they sold us out. A lot of them, a lot of the time, they sold us out a lot of time by having a lot of these Europeans become chiefs and then sell our land. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, that's all they wanted. And also understand this too. What I've been really finding out, jurisdiction is also what they wanted. Okay. Now, this will lead you back to Drew Ali or Timothy Drew. Okay. And civics is part of Drew Ali lessons. So civics will be one thing. First thing you always ought to argue is jurisdiction. Anthony and Andrew Jackson told you that you can stay if you gave up jurisdiction. If you gave them jurisdiction or dominion, jurisdiction basically means dominance, man. or dominion. Okay, if someone got jurisdiction over you, that means they got the right to they're your king. You're in that type of society or that type of system. Okay, jurisdiction without jurisdiction. If only jurisdiction you supposed to be in is the sovereign government or the people or your culture. You ain't supposed to be under no jurisdiction of no one who came here and put you under some false pretense and made you some fake citizen. You understand what I'm saying? Made you a fake citizen and give you fake money to barter when the whole thing is yours. So even even with this wall and everything, I was, at first I was kind of naive to it about the wall. I'm still not with immigration and all that shit. Definitely not with the immigration thing, especially when we got our own problems here, because the more immigrants you bring here, the more problems it create for us, because more people buy into the same system that we trying to get straight to make right with what they did to us. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no sense on you just continuing to go to work every day, put your head down, and ride on that escalator. I mean, on that escalator every day. You get on the escalator or the treadmill, do the same thing without stopping and turning, saying, "Hold up, these people owe us reparations, man. The fuck am I working hard next to Pedro for that just got here last week?
Facts.
Nah, why am I working hard next to Pedro? Why am I trying to sit here, nigga? Listen, the
Right.
fucking the what's the I'm the title I'm the title holder of the land.
So we shouldn't
Now
be working next to Raul now. You know what I'm saying?
that's right, that's right, that's right, that's right, that's right. And but at the end of the day, you gotta, what I'm saying, you gotta do something and try to maintain some type of sanity. I tell you like this, right? This consciousness will fuck your life up as far as the ability to really like have a social life at some point in time. You know what I'm saying? I seen that it was really causing that for me at one point in time or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because knowing like, and a lot of people, you start hearing a lot of people start talking about this shit today. Your Tariq Nasheeds and your Tariq Nasheeds, your Yvette Carnels, and some of these other people. You go back to my earlier videos, I was already telling you all skin folks and kin folks. I was already telling you that be careful of certain black immigrants. I'm not saying, listen, I'm not saying all of the brothers. We got beautiful brothers from my brothers from Haiti, we got brothers from the Caribbean, we got brothers from all over. But we also got, just like you got house niggas among black Americans, you got house niggas among them too. Same thing with the so-called Africans. You got house niggas among all of them people. You got your own house niggas that you got to look out for, as well as the other house niggas that come here that you got to look out for. So a lot of people really starting to really catch up on that, starting to say, hold up, man, like that's the reason why people buy into a lot of these different agendas and shit like that, because they not DOSs. And then when I say DOS is a descendant of slave, and all in more than one way, we are all at in more than one way. Now, some people might be saying, "Man, my family wasn't no slave." Yeah, they was. If you don't own the land now, if you ain't got the deed to the land where your family lived at, then they had to be something. Now, I ain't saying everybody was a slave, but most people, they might have had companies. They might have been, because what I'm starting to also see is that they went through a lot of our farms, a lot of our trades as far as agriculture, and made companies out of them. So they use us basically and say, well, you'll produce this much and we'll pay you, or we'll give you this. This is what was pretty much going on, as opposed to you just directly being some type of slave on a plantation. Most of the plantations was owned by us. This is something else that I just found out. This is something else that I just found out through reading. Now, I'm not saying all of them, but I'm saying a lot of these plantations, and which we think that the Europeans owned, it wasn't owned by them. It was owned by us. They just basically went through us as the distributor, or they will go. Basically, they was extorting us too in a lot of different ways. They're extorting us in a lot of different ways. That's why you understand, man. Listen, read up on that. Read up on how they wanted jurisdiction over you. That's all they want over. And the same thing today. They still want jurisdiction over you. You understand what? The same thing today, they want jurisdiction over you. That's why every time you step out of line or you say something, you got to be corrective. You say a word. And the funny thing is this, right? You see, like on Sports Center and a lot of these fucking immigrants and these white people, they be trying to talk Ebonics. First, Ebonics wasn't cool, but now it's cool all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? All of these words, all of these fucking words that they use are words that come from the so-called Black Indians or Aborigines or Tontonese Aborigines of this land. And they use it. They use our phrases. They use our style. You hear white boys trying to say that, you know what I'm saying, and all this other stuff. And they doing these on these platforms, on these media platforms, and trying to sound hip and trying to sound like us. But at the same token, when you do it, they like, oh no, it means this. They try to correct you fast. You know what I'm saying? You know, when a white boy, when you wear a wave cap, you a motherfucking thug. But when a white boy wear a wave cap, oh, he just trying to be cool and shit. You a thug and the police might run down on you. But when he wear one, oh, that's Davey right there. He's trying to be cool. He's innocent though. Even though he just got caught with a handgun, he's innocent though. You know, he's not. I know his father and he's a good kid. He's just a trouble kid. You know, he's a good kid though. So, you know, like I said, man, at the end of the day, you know, definitely give people who come through with this information and try to give you guys something new to deal with. As far as, you know, this is a large book. We didn't start it from A, we at the P's. And like I said, man, at the end of the day, man, support people who support y'all. So I'm about to get up out of you brothers. Got anything you would like to say to the people before we get up out of here?
Oh, I just want to say peace, love, and light. Blessings to all y'all for coming out, getting this good education. You know what I'm saying? This was a, heavyweight scholastic bill. You know, this is critical information that goes into your informational diet. You see what I'm saying? So make sure you digesting it properly and you able to implement it properly. So I want to say big ups to you, bro. Big ups to Jag, and the rest of the family that's in the chat. Peace, and make sure y'all go over the video again, man. Y'all might have missed something.
And yeah, listen, I'm gonna change the definition of this. I'm gonna put the Aborigine strike back at SETI, American Indian Encyclopedia. So I'm gonna definitely put that on there because I mean, like, listen, man. You know, a lot of you niggas said a lot of shit, man. And at the end of the day, this book right here is basically telling you that a lot of stuff you think came from over there came from over here. Whether you like it, whether you don't like it, whether you could fully digest that or whatever. They're not telling you people from over there came here and taught the people over here how to do it. They're telling you that this shit originated here. It started here.
Yeah, it
So,
definitely started here. And then obviously you can see how it spread it throughout the world. You see what I'm saying? Because the pyramids were started here, and the science and the tools to make pyramids were started here. How the hell did it get everywhere else? It's simple.
and all that stuff, if you go back and check that video that said he did, he basically what he did was say that. He basically said that. Now look, also in one of the videos, what he did was he was basically trying to debunk us and the Mongoloids all at the same time, right?
Not
But
gonna work.
he was making a lot of pivotal mistakes by he was exposing himself by trying to expose the Mongoloids. Because now let's think about this, right? Now let's say real quick, right? Let's say you get a hold of this book, you read the pyramids. Now, you know, according to them, they're gonna sit there and deny it. They're gonna deny it. I don't give a fuck what source, what they're gonna be like, oh, the white man. But then when we go back to your teachers, Dr. Ben and the rest of these people went through institutions, went through universities. It ain't nothing but white men up in here. Okay, now some of these institutions they might give you a sense of intelligence, But at the end of the motherfucking day, you're gonna still have to go through their books to get this intelligence. So you're gonna have to read their books, and you can probably create your own hypothesis out of reading, or create your own, you know what I'm saying, or summarize it up in the way you want to summarize it up to. But you can't create dates if you don't have no way of testing these dates. You can't say, well, you know, this so-called archaeologist is telling you how old these pyramids is in Peru, but then you saying that, oh, another archaeologist saying, oh, the pyramids in Egypt are 75,000 years. You have to prove that. You have to prove it. You have to go through, because like I said, we can go through every school database here, probably on the world, and all of them want to tell you that the pyramids in Egypt is all at the same time. But you want to have a nigga from the Amin Ra squad, nigga Garfield, or even a nigga like SETI tell you something different. And I'm not telling you, I'm not creating this shit up out of thin air. We giving you sources that's showing you that this is not supposed to be. The pyramids in Peru are not supposed to even be in running. That's like a motherfucking that's like the underdog coming out there dunking on Michael Jordan. He ain't supposed to be doing that.
Right.
He ain't supposed to be dunking on Michael Jordan. How is that?
Putting up 60 points and a triple double, but don't nobody want to talk about it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or even what James Harden doing. He ain't supposed to be doing that. That shit he doing, he ain't supposed to be doing that. And that's how you look at the pyramids in Peru. The pyramids in Peru is not supposed to be at 3000 BC. That's why I keep talking about it, because the shit is profound to me. No, I have listen. I have heard Shape Opta Diop. I got Massey's books. I got Disruption of Black Civilization. I got well, I ain't got no Dr. Ben book, but I got
crazy, wasn't it?
Ashraf Kwesi, Dr. Ben, numerous other people, John Henry Clark's, I'm talking about a bunch of different scholars. What's this other guy name? I can't think of his name. The bald head brother from DC. I can't think of his name right now, but it's a lot of Chancellor Williams, J.R. Rogers. I didn't listen to all of these brothers, man, as well as other brothers who summarize information off of them. I've listened to all of them, bro, and I have never heard that the pyramids over here are older than the pyramids over there. They won't dare even say that, because now you're gonna be like, what? I thought y'all had the oldest pyramids. And then so now, like I said, common sense gonna force you to say there was black people here, because I know damn well these Mongoloids ain't built them. So who built them?
And matter of fact, not only that, we can show you step by step how we built these pyramids. Right. Can you do that in Africa?
AP. And listen, let's say right now, we're in the room. Let me see how many people we got in here. Let me see something. We got 118 people in here, right? Now check this out. Now, by the time the video, let's say the video do 1,000 views. 1,000 views is a lot of people, right? If you was in a room of 1,000 people and you showed them this along with sources and other sources, they're not gonna sit there and call you no lie. They're gonna be wondering why the fuck no one ever told them this, or how they missed this, or how they don't know this. They're gonna be sitting in there pointing at you, saying that, oh, I'm not lying, I'm not trying to just stop anything or create my own my own take on anything. This is what it's saying. Now, this was after I seen them mummies or whatever with them locks in their head. This was after that. I seen the mummies with the locks in their hair first. Then I start saying, hold up, man, like these, so they have mummies over here with locks in their head? What the hell is going on? The people in Peru now do not look like none of these. They don't even wear no locks. They don't got no braids, no locks. So where them people come from?
Facts. I ain't seen a Native American with a gold tooth ever.
Bro, like I said, man, that's what I'm trying to tell you, with gold teeth and all that. You know what I'm saying? You see how people in the Caribbean, you see even Caribbean people, you see a lot of Caribbean people with gold teeth, people in the South with gold teeth. You know what I'm saying? You see, and that's another thing. Like, so where did they get that from? My father from Georgia, and he got a gold tooth in his mouth. His cousin do too, brother do too. Where did this shit come from? You understand what I'm saying? So, like I said, man, a lot of this stuff, man, that we was taught is wrong. It been wrong. It always been wrong. It always been black people in the Americas. It wasn't no little. It wasn't no small. The dominant, the majority of people that's in the Americas are melanated people. Okay, that's the same way. If you go to Africa, all the people in Africa don't is not Negroid. All the people in Africa is not Negroid. All of them people over there is not Negroid. You see people from Middle Eastern over there. You see people who look like Hindus. You see a couple of different type of phenotypes in over there in Africa. All of them don't ain't people with thin brown skin people with thin noses, brown skin people with wide noses, brown skin people with thick lips, brown skin people with thin lips, or even median or anything in between. Brown. You got people with green eyes. You got brown skin people with green. So, like I said, even over there, it's not all the same people. So even when you talk about here, you go in South America, North America, Central America, you got Negroes here too. If you go in South America, you got a lot of Negroes. You understand what I'm saying? So, like I said, man, at the end of the day, man, my quest through this whole knowledge thing is this, right? All I wanted to do was, as far as this Aborigine stuff, was just to prove people, just to prove, oh shit, just to prove the people that it was already black people here, and the people that's classified as Africans are not Africans, but the original Aborigines that they found here that was on the northeast or southeast corridor, Terra Nova, North America, in which what we find all the same states that your loved ones live in, down south, all the down south states or whatever. These are the places where we was already at. We gave up jurisdiction, decided to become part of their so-called society. But what they was doing was this: after we became part of their society, they seen that we was thriving, and this is when they started their reconstruction and started, because we was already thriving. Black Wall Street, there was thousands of Black Wall Streets. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say thousands, but it was hundreds of Black Wall Streets. Okay. So they try to tell you, and then once we was able to come up out of it and do good, and they got jealous, and then they brought more of these dirty Europeans here who ain't have no trades, who relied upon people to work. That's why we in the situation we in now. Because before we was self-sufficient. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We didn't need no system because we had our own system. But what made us run away from that system was terrorism, was the same thing we complain about now. You know what I'm saying? Was at one point in time you wasn't able, you had rights, but you didn't have the right. You had your own right? And you was thriving and everything, but because they didn't like it, they would tell you, oh no, you don't have a right to live better than me. So therefore we're gonna terrorize you. So therefore we're gonna destroy your stuff and bring you down to a level that we on. Or make you move up north where you're gonna have to go up there and work for one of these so-called corporations or whatever. You see how that work? Because in the South, people own their own land. They know how to fix their own shit up. You know what I'm saying? They knew how to fix. Most people had their own land, and they would do the home improvement themselves. So, like I said, man, at the end of the day, man, like, just appreciate yourself for whatever you may think you are. I hear other people say they're not telling people how to think. I'm not telling nobody how to think. I mean, I'm just, just like Calloway say, he want to make you think, and that's what all of this shit is meant to do. It's all here to make you think and to look at things from different perspectives. If you always been told one thing one way, and then you find another story, and you say, "Hold up, man! There's another story to this that's saying the opposite of what I've been hearing the whole time." And the people who telling the story got the same credentials as the people who told me the other story. So what am I supposed to do at this point in time? Do they cancel each other out? What do they supposed to do at this point in time? I supposed to do my own research at that point in time. So once you find out that once you find out that people telling you the out of Africa theory, and then now you're starting to find out that people telling you the out of America theory, now you gotta start saying, well, hold up, man, look, okay, we got two people here. They both got credentials. Some of them is from these colleges, some of them is from these colleges. Okay, they both got credentials. We can't sit here and say, well, he got more credentials than him, or you. In some cases, you can, according to the seniority or how long the person been doing it. But in most cases, you can't. You understand what I'm saying? So you might have a professor from over here, archaeologist from over here, and you have an archaeologist from over there. But I bet you, most of the time, the people who speaking about the out of Africa theory are not archaeologists or anthropologists. You might have some, but for the majority of archaeologists and anthropology work is being done here in the Americas. Because they already done been over to Egypt. They already done told you everything about Egypt. Now this shit's starting to come out that it's 60,000 structures in motherfucking Central America. That's Central America, right, AP?
Yeah, man. In Central America, it's probably estimated about 60,000, and in Guatemala alone, it's just one country.
Yeah,
Guatemala alone has over 60,000 structures. Estimated about 10,000 of those are pyramids.
See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? And that will all make sense, bro. Because but like I said, the sad part about it is the land y'all claiming West Africa don't have nothing.
A language, a sculpture, science. They don't have nothing. You're right.
Nothing. You ain't find no Olmec heads over there, SETI. You ain't find no Olmec heads in Kemet, SETI. You ain't find no Olmec head in South America. South Africa, SETI. You ain't find no Olmecs nowhere in Africa. You created that story talking about they brought these people from over there. They brought these giant heads over here and then buried. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Shit been here. He trying to say that they was the Twa people who did that. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. At first, I was kind of challenging that because when I was reading in Samuel Mortensen work, he was saying that a lot of these burials where they thought that these people was pygmies, they really was children. Now, I didn't really jump on that. I just reserved that until I found some more information. I was listening to the dude Harbord on the brother UBN news channel, whatever, and he was saying that how they found in Central America, they found these doorways that was about like 3 feet tall. He said they found these doorways in Central America that was around 3 feet tall. That's why I say you gotta listen to some of these Europeans, because some of these Europeans is giving you game that you don't even know about.
Right. The only thing is I would have to say about the pygmy and the Twa story is they Afrocentrics start off saying the Twa or the pygmy is the original people of Africa, and according to genetics, that the reason those people are short is because of a deformity in their pituitary gland, and a deformity in the pituitary gland cannot make a tall person from a short person dealing with the pituitary gland having a mutation. It's impossible.
That's right. You know, the pituitary gland is your endocrine. That's in your brain that basically administer. It also has something to do with your sexuality. Your pituitary gland has something to do with your sexuality and the size of like your height and everything. Because also you could have a pituitary problem that'll make you gain weight too. Not well, just grow. If you have, like, you see the Yamins and a lot of these people who be growing all big, they be having problems with their pituitary gland.
And they can't stop. They can't stop it.
That's right. It don't stop.
Right.
That's right.
You can't. So say if Yamin was a short person or whatever, and they try to have a baby, there's impossible for them to have a normal sized baby. Impossible.
That's right. So, like I said, that's some good information, man. But yeah. So they, they did say they found that them some Twa people that was living there. Now, like I said, I mean, he might be thrown off too. I got to do some further research on it though. But like I said, it's a lot of stuff going on. Look how small Central America is, bro. Central America is small as hell. I mean, compared to all these other lands they so-called claim they conquered, Central America's small. How how come they didn't excavate the whole Central America by now?
I mean, really, we can just say Central America, just South North America. You know what I'm saying? It really ain't no Central.
No,
It's
no, no,
just,
no. I'm just saying. But listen, the area that they equate as being Central America.
right, right, right.
That little part that connects into South, that's connecting off of North America onto South America, that little part right there
It's
is
small.
yeah. But people, they didn't excavate that yet, neither.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking like if they finding these underwater pyramids right outside the coast of Florida and Cuba, then you see this empty space that's filled up with water in the Central America, what they call the Gulf of Mexico. You can tell it was land either was there or still is there, and it's just covered up with water. And yeah, they haven't did enough excavation and research on none of these lands in America.
So that's 2,500 feet though. So that's like into sea level. That's 2,500 feet underwater. And that's why, when people start talking about the earth is flat and everything, listen, I believe we are not on no round fucking ball. Now is it flat like a fucking pancake? Nah, I'm not agreeing with that. It has crevices. If you got water where there used to be civilization that could cover a landmass that's 2,500 feet under the submerged in the water, then you have to start re-looking at how this planet or this plane or whatever you want to call it that we are on. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, that's a whole nother conversation. But like I said, for the most part, we ain't gotta really directly um address SETI. We just pretty much destroyed them with just one source because you got no Kemet. If the pyramids in Kemet was built after the pyramids in America. So none of this. So the whole story he told you was pseudo about people coming here, teaching us how to make, teaching the people over here how to make the pyramids and everything. Because what he also doing is this, right? In most cases, he is equating the Mongoloids with building pyramids. If you listen to SETI video, he is giving credit to the Mongoloids for building pyramids here, right? Now, somehow the Mongoloids then jumped on this bandwagon of saying that the pyramids here, they was the ones that created them, and they was creating pyramids before Africa. Now, this is another argument that I've been hearing lately, but nonetheless, though, that's one thing that I've been hearing, right? Another thing, like I just told you. So what SETI did was to try to refute it was by saying that the African came from Africa to teach the people here how to build the structures. But the structures here are older than the ones in Africa. Then that story is not true. And everything that he said is false. We got our own civilization. We have our own technology advances. We have everything that you claim is over there in Kemet over here. So at the end of the day, so his whole story of what he said is all shut down. Everything is shut down. And the Aborigines gonna stand. We was already here. They enslaved 6 million so-called Indians here, but you don't know that the Indians looked at like Negroes. That's the reason why you can ship. They telling you that they shipping Negro. They telling you that they shipping Indians from North America to West Indians, and you don't find you listen. You can go to the West Indies and know what an East Indian looked like, right? Now think of it like this. Let's think of it like this real quick, right? AP,
Yeah.
in Guyana, right? In Guyana, no, yeah,
Right.
Guyana. In Guyana they got Indian people, right? They got
Hmm.
Indian. They got Indian people that the British brought over to Guyana, right? Now, the British brought them over to Guyana because when they was over there, when the British went to India, and they was pretty much trying to do what they was doing over there in India. Now, a lot of people, that's a lot of that is kind of like we not really fixed on how many, but check this out. They only brought a small number of Indians to Guyana. Not Ghana, Guyana. Guyana is the West Indies, all right? So we can easily identify what them people look like. When you see Guyanese people, you think that they East Indians. Well, no, the original Guyanese people was black people who were already there. Them East Indians came there by way of the British, but you can easily identify them. If American Indians looked it like you, like they look, why can't you easily identify? They telling you they enslaved 6 million of these people. Why is there no remnants of these people in the West Indies? Why don't I see these people in Barbados? Why don't I see these people? Why don't I see anybody who look like them? Why the fuck don't none of us look like them? Hmm? Why the fuck don't? And then those of us who believe we got Indian, or some of the more ignorant ones who say they got Indian, is because their grandmother was mixed with a motherfucking white person, and then they don't understand that their grandmother must didn't tell them, or in some cases they did tell them. Well, my father was an Indian and my mother was white, and they don't even understand that. Just like we just read George Crumb, who created the potato chip. All right, I don't know how many people caught that, or was y'all still in the house when we was talking about that? They said George Crumb was a Mohawk. Then when you go to George Crumb pictures, they show you a Mongoloid lady and another dude who looked like a Mongoloid. He don't look like he a Negroid. He look like he can be Negroid, but for the way George Crumb looks, them parents did not produce this Negro. And I think let me see if I still got it up here. I think I still got it up here. This guy right here. This is supposed to be George Crumb, the person who created the potato chip. This is who they saying George Crumb parents is. Right here. You think these two people produced him? So you believe these two people right here, they produce him? You'll be a damn fool. Look at her. Look. Look. See, look. Fire roasted peanuts, fresh popcorn. This is all shit we was doing over here. They trying to take this shit from us and put these out. They put these people. But this is George Crumb right here, y'all. This is the real George Crumb. But when you read it in American Encyclopedia, it tells you George Crumb was a Mohawk. It don't say nothing about him being no other descendants of anybody else. It said he was a straight Mohawk. Okay. So, like I said, man, support your boy, Coach of Freedom and Coaches of America. Documentary Black Indians. Go to your T-shirt spring. Cop yourself some type of proud T-shirt, hoodie, something. Brother Jaguar cop one. He copped the Jaguar God T-shirt, and that shit is hard. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, shout out to everybody who caught one. Laney, I don't know if you heard my last video, but I had actually found the email you sent to me, and you sent it to one of my older my Yahoo account. I don't know, it's still on my phone, so I guess I made a mistake and pressed it. And the first person I seen was Laney. I copied everything. I actually ordered the T-shirt last week. I ordered it last Wednesday, so you should be getting it probably by at the end of this week or the beginning of the next week. Okay, sorry for the misunderstanding, but just email me from now on at chiefautochthon one. Now I think the other one was autochthonist American, something like that. But email me at the chiefautochthonist one email. All right, but I got that sent out to you, and you should be getting it soon. I wanted to confirm that was your address. I don't know that but I read it and I believe that you said that was your address, so we should still be good. But yeah, man, like I said, this is a decent build, bro. I appreciate you brothers coming through. Been a minute to get a good building. Hope guys appreciate it, and everything. And like I said, man, to the next one. we'll be getting the next another one out. Hopefully, end of this week. I got some other videos I want to throw out there. I got something I want to do in the Bearing Strait. I got a nice heavyweight build on the Bering Strait that they're telling you that the Bering Strait did not happen the way that we're being told that it happened. You know, and it's a lot of other stuff that go with that, but I got most of the sources that I need to really get it off. Yeah, like I said, I did go back to school, so things been kind of tough or whatever. But the documentary and everything, I've been working on that. So, like I said, man, thank everybody who do donate, all the donations that come through. Appreciate everybody, you know what I'm saying? Remember, my channel is not monetized. I do not receive anything except, it's except happy faces and good commentary. A lot of people leave me good comments. They say thank you and everything. And I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm just a vessel in which this information can come through. Um I'm just like you and I'm just like everybody else. I got personal problems. You know what I'm saying? I got feelings and emotions, and I'm just a normal person, just like I'm just a normal aborigine, just like the rest of y'all. You know what I'm saying? I just happened that this fell in my lap and I had to really, give it to the people. I had to give it away. It ain't no good if you don't give it away. What you're gonna keep this information and just hold it to yourself and tell your family, or can you make a platform and basically build a platform and have people, you know what I'm saying, have people come into the platform for information. Stay tuned. Stay tuned to the next one. You know what I'm saying? The information is jumping, and that's how it pretty much is today. So, I thank everybody who subscribed, all of the subscribers from day one, all the way to the 16,000 subscriber. I appreciate everybody, man. I definitely shout out, appreciate everybody. So with that being said, I'm about to end this video. I got a few things I need to do. So love and light to everybody, all the Aborigine, North, South, Central America. I will be back with another build sooner than later. So with that being said, we out of here. I don't know. Jag must have dropped out,
Yeah, he might did.
but yeah, man. Shout out to everybody, y'all. So with that being said, y'all, I get up out of here, man. I got some things I gotta do, man. Shout out to AP. Thanks for coming through, AP. No doubt. Peace.